Chapter 425. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The battle continued. Night Sorrow's team was at the forefront. Although Night Sorrow didn't make a move, this team was the strongest in terms of combat power, and their teamwork was also the best. Night Sorrow's injuries had not fully healed, but he still had the ability to fight. It was just that his blood energy was not very smooth. Now that he was being protected, he did not really participate in the battle. He only used his soul power to cover the area in front of him. The dark zombies were already very intelligent, not to mention the dark spirit corpse. Its intelligence was no different from a human's because it had already awakened the memories of its previous life. In addition, due to the influence of the death attribute, its personality was even more cunning and sinister. More than 10 teams advanced, leaving behind the corpses of dark creatures. Commander Qin, come quickly. Everyone, retreat. Night Sorrow shouted and stood at the front of the group. Night Sorrow's soul power covered the area in front of him. One of the dark zombies made Night Sorrow feel unusual. He was familiar with its aura. Then he remembered that it was the aura of the dark zombie that ambushed him. This was the result of being bombed. Hearing Night Sorrow's roar, Qin flew towards Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow was once again restrained by spatial shackles. Update F new W fastest M up/HV retreat. Night Sorrow shouted again. Then, he activated the bracelet on his wrist. He didn't want to add to his injuries, which would make it harder for him to recover. With the stimulation of Night Sorrow's true chi, energy fluctuations appeared on his body, squeezing out the energy binding, turning into an oval-shaped energy shield. With a muffled sound, Night Sorrow, who was protected by an energy shield, was sent flying. At this moment, Qin came and started fighting with the dark spirit corpse again. However, the dark spirit zombie did not want to fight Qin head-on. It fought while retreating towards the group of dark creatures. Night Sorrow had the urge to curse. This dark spirit corpse was really shameless, wanting to kill him. If it wasn't for the protective bracelet, Night Sorrow would have suffered. Although he wouldn't be killed, he would definitely be seriously injured. Dai Tianqiang went to Night Sorrow's side. Lu Zhenyu and Qin started to chase after the dark spirit corpse. Night Sorrow, how are you? Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei came to Night Sorrow's side. I'm fine, but it's a big loss. The bracelet is like a life. Night Sorrow's wrist was empty. The bracelet had already been destroyed. It's fine as long as you're fine. We can talk about other things later. I still have a protective bracelet here. Yang Lei said and took off the bracelet on her wrist. Don't, I still have other ways to save my life. This one is very important. Night Sorrow quickly stopped Yang Lei. I'll think of a way for you. We don't have a protective bracelet, but we have other protective treasures. I'll think of a way for you. Dai Tianqiang said. All right. I believe you, Elder Dai. Night Sorrow said with a smile. I won't lie about this. I'll think of a way for you. Dai Tianqiang was stunned by Night Sorrow's words. Normally, Night Sorrow would say that he didn't need it and thank him for his kindness. However, Night Sorrow didn't play by the rules. Dai Tianqiang then ordered the team to continue advancing and kill as many as they could. An hour later, Qin and Lu Zhenyu returned. Lu Zhenyu's face was pale. What's the situation? Dai Tianqiang asked. There's a change in the situation. It's not just a single supreme-level dark spirit corpse. They're afraid of Commander Qin, so they attacked me together. If not for Commander Qin, I wouldn't have been able to return today. Lu Zhenyu said angrily. Love, go little, say, W. Chu. How many supreme-level dark spirit corpses? Dai Tianqiang asked. 3. The main thing is that they have a unique skill. Once the death energy spreads out, it covers a large area. Then they turn into clones and escape. After a few times, we couldn't even see their shadows. Qin said. Our attributes are suppressed by the death energy. Before we can investigate them clearly, they've already escaped. Lu Zhenyu said. I suspect that these dark spirit corpses are organized. They have the same unique skill to escape. It should be similar to clones and a battle skill. If we don't solve this problem, it'll be hard for us to kill them. Qin said. How about this? We'll defend first and wait for the enforcement elder to return. We'll see what tactics are suitable. Dai Tianqiang said. The enforcement elder he was talking about was Lei Hua. In the city lord's mansion, the enforcement elder and the guardian elder had the highest status. Lei Hua was the enforcement elder. Then, the group retreated to the campsite. Captain, you're too unlucky. You've been attacked by the dark spirit corpses continuously. You're really attractive, Lei Bao said. You bastard. If it wasn't for the captain blocking at the front, do you think you'd be alive? Ho Jian waved his hand and punched Lei Bao's shoulder. Thank you, Captain. Lei Bao nodded at Night Sorrow. You're welcome. I'm willing to exchange some injuries for the safety of my brothers. I'm willing to accept this bad luck. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Thank you, Captain. The members of the Bloodstrike Guard also shouted. They're lucky to be following you. Qin Nan glanced at the group behind Night Sorrow and said. Then, the group began to rest. The injured healed, and the uninjured sat down to recover. The 3 venerables of the Eastern Xian region were stationed around the campsite. They were worried that the dark spirit corpses would launch a sneak attack on the campsite. Night Sorrow also began to meditate and heal. He wasn't injured today, but he hadn't recovered from the injuries from last time. There were no battles for the next 2 days. The main reason was that Qin Nan and the other 2 didn't want the Eastern Xian region to suffer any losses. The appearance of 3 venerables made the situation even more serious. If they rashly went out and couldn't stop the enemy's venerables, the consequences would be unimaginable. Qin Nan also sent people back to Eastern Xian City to gather the commanders of the Bloodstrike Guard and Black Iron Guard. At the same time, he reported the situation to the Guardian Elder so that he could ask Wu Lingfei what to do. After Night Sorrow fully recovered, the 3 commanders of the Bloodstrike Guard arrived. As for the commander of the Black Iron Guard, he had already gone to the Dark Island. After the 3 commanders arrived, the Eastern Xian region prepared for a big battle. Their strength was already overwhelming, so there was no point in continuing the confrontation. After a few higher-ups of the Eastern Xian region had a meeting, Ardent Wind found Night Sorrow. After drinking a jar of wine, Ardent Wind took out a set of silver soft armor. A different soft armor had a soaring golden king bird on it. Night Sorrow couldn't recognize what kind of bird it was, but he could feel its contemptuous gaze and aura. Is this for me? Night Sorrow asked. Brother, if it's not for you, why would I take it out? To show off? The city lord gave it to the guardian elder to deliver to you. It should be called the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor. You can study it yourself. Ardent Wind smiled and left Night Sorrow's tent. Yi Shang opened the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor and stretched out his hand to feel the cool sensation coming from it. Chapter 426. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow greeted her with some surprise. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao. Say www.aichuxs.com. Well, this is only Aunt Fei's soul imprint. It won't exist for too long. You won't be able to recognize the owner of this armor. It's still the same. You need Aunt Fei to recognize you as the owner. After Wu Lingfei finished speaking, the arm of the illusory figure cut Night Sorrow's arm. A stream of blood floated down Wu Lingfei's arm and entered the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor. At this time, the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor began to emit light. The light became brighter and brighter. After a while, the light weakened. The Golden Phoenix Soft Armor will not shatter. There is only one possibility for it to shatter. You will understand in the future. Although it will not shatter, it can only resist part of the energy that invades. If the energy is too strong, it will not be able to resist. You still have to pay attention to your safety. After speaking, Wu Lingfei's illusory figure dissipated. The dissipated energy also entered the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor. After receiving this energy, the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor changed again. The Golden King bird on it began to shine. It wanted to take off, as if it had a soul. At this time, Night Sorrow and the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor had a connection. With Night Sorrow's communication and the vibration of the energy in his body, the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor flew from the table and disintegrated. It then flew back to Night Sorrow's body and fastened tightly on Night Sorrow's body. At this time, The energy on the Golden Phoenix soft armor flowed. After feeling it, Night Sorrow's body shook. The Golden Phoenix soft armor turned into a half-foot-long shoulder guard and fastened on Night Sorrow's shoulder. Why did you take it off? The Golden Phoenix soft armor is so beautiful. Yang Lei said. I don't want to, but supporting the Golden Phoenix soft armor requires a lot of Zhen Qi. I can't bear it. Night Sorrow said with a wry smile. He did not say that supporting the Golden Phoenix soft armor required the support of soul power. He could only support it for a while. In other words, he could block a few attacks at a critical time. Mistress K is really taking care of you. She doesn't call you concubine for nothing. She really treats you as a junior. Sikong Chuyu said with some emotion. At this time, as long as one was not a fool, they would know that this Golden Phoenix flexible armor was also a spiritual artifact. It's really beautiful. Yang Lei looked at the Golden Phoenix soft armor and smiled, reaching out to touch it. Wang. The Golden Phoenix soft armor vibrated and directly shook Yang Lei back. After taking a few steps back, Yang Lei steadied herself. What's going on? I haven't even touched it yet. The Golden Phoenix soft armor has an artifact spirit. I can only feel its existence when I use it. I don't know what's going on right now. I guess it's a self-protective consciousness, Night Sorrow said. Shaking his shoulders, Night Sorrow looked at the shoulder pads again. He felt that this Golden Phoenix flexible armor had a secret. This was his intuition. The Golden Phoenix flexible armor had an artifact spirit. He did not have much communication with the artifact spirit, but he could use it perfectly. After resting for a while, everyone gathered, but they didn't go out to battle. Pisong's 7 Hair Vit was Lei Hua who came back and stopped them from going out to battle. Afterward, the upper echelons of the Eastern Xian region held another meeting to discuss countermeasures because Lei Hua brought back some information. Night Sorrow and the others weren't qualified to participate in the meeting, so they drank and waited in the tent. An hour later, Lei Hua and Qin Nan arrived at Night Sorrow's tent. Dai Tianqiang and Lu Zhenyu went to arrange other things. You're not going out to battle? Night Sorrow asked. Yes, we can't. Lei Hua sighed. Then, Lei Hua told him what he had found out. River Ocean City had fallen. After passing River Ocean City, Lei Hua scouted the coastline of the Realm Sea and found a spatial tunnel. Death energy was gushing out from it, and dark creatures were constantly appearing. This wasn't the main reason why the Eastern Xian region was in a passive position. The spatial tunnel's nature was very disgusting. The spatial tunnel gushed with death energy, and dark creatures could enter and leave without a problem. However, cultivators of other attributes couldn't enter except for death energy. Lei Hua had tested it on ordinary demonic beasts. The spatial tunnel rejected all attributes except death energy. As long as other attributes appeared, it would directly crush them. Can't your protective energy withstand it? Ho Jian asked. It can't. Low-level cultivators can't withstand the crushing death energy. High-level cultivators will be suppressed by the laws, and their spirit sea will be destroyed, Lei Hua explained. Then we won't go in. Let's kill all the dark creatures outside and then defend the entrance, Nan Liu said. The spatial tunnel doesn't reject death energy. The dark spirit corpses can enter and exit as they wish. How are we going to fight? If we suppress the spatial tunnel, what if the dark spirit corpses come out and launch a sneak attack? A dark spirit corpse can kill a group of low-level cultivators on our side even if it's injured, Lei Hua said hatefully. Night Sorrow and the others didn't say anything. The spatial tunnel's nature was too unfair. It put the Eastern Xian region and the Death Domain at a completely different starting point. The only thing we can do now is to guard the Broken Cloud Mountain and report to the Lord to see how to deal with it. I don't have any other ideas now, Lei Hua said with a sigh. If it was a head-on battle, Lei Hua wouldn't be afraid. However, the situation was too unfavorable. He had fought with the dark spirit corpses before. Just when he was about to kill them, the dark spirit stone ran back to the Death Domain. Without absolute strength, it was impossible to kill them. Then there was silence. No one had a solution. Senior, is this spatial tunnel the same as the Death Domain of the Dark Island? Night Sorrow asked. Now that the Dark Island was a hidden worry, Night Sorrow was very worried that this spatial tunnel wasn't the same. Then, the problem would be even more difficult to solve. Looking at the energy analysis, It's the same spatial tunnel. The types of dark creatures are also similar. If we're unlucky, there will be 2 of them. There are many dark spirit corpses in this spatial tunnel. The exact number is unknown. Most importantly, there are no conflicts between them. This means that they should have received orders. There should be a commander above them, Lei Hua said while rubbing his forehead. Night Sorrow's heart trembled. To be able to make a venerable rank dark spirit corpse obey, it could only be an expert stronger than them. You guys go back. Go back and rest for a while before coming back. It has been very tiring to fight under such high pressure. Also, tell the Lord about the situation and see how to arrange it. I can't leave this place right now because there is a very strong dark spirit corpse. If I leave, the others will find it hard to hold on. Lei Hua said. Lei Hua didn't want Night Sorrow and the others to be ambushed by the dark spirit corpse. He and Qin Nan had already planned to kill the dark spirit corpse. Therefore, he was worried that the dark spirit corpse would do the same. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the current situation was very difficult to determine victory or defeat. It would be very difficult for the dark creatures to attack. After all, there were many venerables from the Eastern Xian region. If the Eastern Xian region wanted to win, they would have to solve some problems. Bring your subordinates back to rest. Pack up and leave, Lei Hua said to Night Sorrow. Chapter 427. Geniuses Remember Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Following which, Night Sorrow led Yang Lei, Xikong Chuyu, and Ho Jian, as well as the members of the Bloodstrike Guard, back to Starcloud City on their flying mounts. 13. The current situation is very bad. What kind of situation is this? I can't calm down, Yang Lei said. Auntie Fei said that this is a sign of chaos, but it doesn't matter. The Eastern Xian region isn't a place where the dark creatures can take over. Currently, only the subordinates of the City Lord's mansion are taking action. If Tianji Tower and the other superpowers take action, the dark creatures will definitely be annihilated. The main problem is the root of the problem. If we don't deal with the root of the problem, it will always be troublesome, Night Sorrow said. You're quite open-minded, but it does make sense. No one can watch the Eastern Xian region fall. Although Tianji Tower is a force spread across the 9 regions and 18 states, the Eastern Xian region is also the hometown of many of its members, Yang Lei nodded. If there's a battle, we'll fight. If there's no battle, we'll rest and cultivate. Don't think too much about it, Xikong Chuyu said. Yi Shang nodded and didn't think about it any further. It took a day for the group to reach Starcloud City. When they arrived at the teleportation array, they teleported to Dongxian City. The Starcloud sect didn't charge the teleportation array because everyone who came to this area was here to fight the dark creatures. They were all here to help the Starcloud sect. Naturally, they couldn't charge the teleportation array. After returning to Dongxian City, Night Sorrow led the Bloodstrike Guard to a restaurant. After eating and drinking, he had them return to the City Lord's mansion to rest. Yi Shang planned to expand the residence. However, it was very difficult to expand Qing Xian Cottage. If he wanted to expand, he would have to buy the residences on both sides of Qing Xian Cottage. He planned to do this later. There was nothing that couldn't be done without crystal stones. He didn't lack crystal stones now. Night Sorrow asked Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu to take Ho Jian and the others to Qingxin Villa to rest, while he drove Tianyu to Tianji Tower. On the top floor of Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow saw Yin Shui. Night Sorrow, you're back. How's the situation over there? Silver Snow asked. Yi Shan then told him about the situation at Broken Cloud Mountain of Starcloud sect. The situation is really serious. Law enforcement Elder Ho Yuan has gone to the Dark Island. I have to stay here and report this situation to Lord K, Yin Shui said. Then I'll go see the branch master. Night Sorrow bowed to Yin Shui and drove Tianyu away from Tianji Tower. Yin Shui was stunned. In Tianji Tower, unless the branch master showed himself, only Lei Hua could contact him. However, now that Night Sorrow said that he was going to see the branch master, how could Yin Shui not be surprised? In the mountains north of Dongxian City, Yi Shang saw Wu Lingfei meditating and cultivating. Night Sorrow then told Wu Lingfei about the situation at Broken Cloud Mountain. This kind of situation is very helpless. Every space is a manifestation of the heavenly Tao and has a sense of self-preservation. The rules of the space passage should be in accordance with the heavenly Tao's trajectory. Wu Lingfei said. That's too unfair to our 9-domain world, Night Sorrow said. Some things can't be explained clearly. After all, the 9-domain world is broken and some of the rules are not complete. You don't have to worry. If they really have the strength, they will directly push in. They are not pushing in now because they don't have the confidence. Wu Lingfei sneered. Then I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. This is actually nothing. Every period and every era will have some turbulence. It's just that it's not that serious. If it's not serious, it's just a small episode. If it's serious, it's a chaotic world. Love, go little, say network. Chu Wu Lingfei shook her head and said. Then what should we do now? Night Sorrow asked. Either defend or violently sweep through that space. Aunt Fei will send a message. You don't have to worry about it. Go back and rest for a while, Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that he couldn't do anything about it. Aunt Fei, I know this is your protective spirit treasure. I can't accept it. It will affect your combat strength, Night Sorrow said after controlling the Golden Phoenix soft armor. Take it. You are right. This is my protective spirit treasure, but it's not my main body. Wu Lingfei waved her arm and an identical Golden Phoenix soft armor appeared on her body. What's going on? Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei in surprise. He didn't understand what was going on. After Aunt Fei's protective spirit treasure evolved, it produced a secondary body. You are wearing the secondary body, so you don't have to worry about Aunt Fei's safety and combat strength. Although the situation is chaotic, it is still under Aunt Fei's control. Later, Aunt Fei can send some people from the City Lord's Mansion and Tianji Tower. In fact, Aunt Fei can solve these problems now, but she doesn't want to delay her future because of this. Wu Lingfei looked at the Life Saint crystal in her hand, which had shrunk a lot. Aunt Fei can send people from Tianji Tower, but it's not easy to talk to the City Lord's Mansion, Night Sorrow said. Haha. There are some things that Aunt Fei didn't tell you. Aunt Fei is not only the owner of Tianji Tower, but also the City Lord of Eastern Xian City. Therefore, Aunt Fei can control the situation in Eastern Xian region, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Night Sorrow was stunned. He used to think that Qin Nan was giving face to Tianji Tower, but now he understood that it wasn't the case. Okay, go. It's not a big deal. You can go back and rest. Wu Lingfei nodded to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow exhaled and suddenly felt very relieved. He took out 2 jars of wine and left them for Wu Lingfei. Then, he rode his Tianyu to the City Lord's Mansion. In the City Lord's Mansion, Night Sorrow saw Zheng Cheng and Steward Lin. Night Sorrow came to find Steward Lin. Night Sorrow is here. We know about your situation on the Island of Darkness. You're ruthless. What business do you have in the City Lord's Mansion? Zheng Cheng asked. I'm here to find someone with a lot of face to help me with something. I'll have to trouble Steward Lin with this matter, Night Sorrow said. What's the matter? Enforce a night, just say it, Steward Lin said. It's like this. I want to buy a house on both sides of my residence. We won't bully people. I can pay a high price, even if they raise the price, Night Sorrow said. K only BC dollar unspecified currency genuine, O and D, all. Is T pirated due, Steward Lin and I will help you with this matter. However, you already have a house. Why do you still want to buy one? Lu Zhenyu appeared. He came back to communicate with the Guardian Elder and happened to hear Night Sorrow's words. Aren't I leading a team of guards? If the house is bigger and has a martial arts arena, it will be more convenient to give them some space, Night Sorrow said. It's like this. After I'm done with some things, I'll help you with it. You go ahead. I still have things to deal with. Lu Zhenyu said and entered the City Lord's Mansion. Chapter 428. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go divided by Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. After returning to Qingxin Villa, Night Sorrow found that a sumptuous feast had been prepared, but Ho Jian and the others were not there. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao. Say www.aichuxs.com. After asking, Night Sorrow found out that they had taken the teleportation array back to their sect. They had not returned to their sect for a long time, so they had to go back and report the situation. Is everything done? Yang Lei asked. It's done. Let's drink. Next, we will cultivate and rest peacefully. Don't worry about anything else. This is such a big matter. It's not our turn to worry about it. Night Sorrow sat down and said with a smile. It seems like someone has reassured you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so calm. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Yes, someone is handling these matters. Auntie Fei said that she would send people from Tianji Tower and the City Lord's mansion to deal with these matters. Night Sorrow said. It's not a problem for her to send people from Tianji Tower. The City Lord's mansion is just giving face. Would they listen to her? Yang Lei shook her head. I used to think so too. But after I learned more about the situation, I understood a lot. Auntie Fei is actually the City Lord of Dongxian City. Otherwise, why would Commander Qin Nan be so respectful to her? This also explains why the City Lord's mansion of Dongxian City appeared when Medicine Valley and Golden Flame sect were fighting. Night Sorrow said. So that's the case. They have helped us many times. It's just that we didn't know about it. Sikong Chuyu said with some emotion. Yes. Otherwise, Golden Flame sect's teleportation array and Golden Flame Palace wouldn't have fallen into the hands of Medicine Valley so easily. Yang Lei also sighed. This was something that they had never thought of. It can be said that Aunt Fei controls most of the power in the Eastern Xian domain. If she can mobilize all of them, then the situation in the Star Cloud sect is nothing. Night Sorrow said after drinking a mouthful of wine. After the three of them had a hearty drink, Night Sorrow let Tianyu and Silver Fox out and let them play in the garden and yard. Silver Fox's potential is very terrifying. After awakening his bloodline, he entered the 5th level of the core condensation realm and is not far from the 6th level. His future combat strength is beyond doubt, Sikong Chuyu said. Let nature take its course. Recently, I plan to study alchemy and refine some Tier 5 pills. We are all Tier 5, so we can't do without Tier 5 pills. Night Sorrow said. Forever J exempt $$ fee. Look, Small L says one after staying for a while, Yang Lei went to rest. When she left, she smiled maliciously at Sikong Chuyu. Sikong Chuyu was very smart. How could he not know what was going on? The three of them hadn't been alone for a long time. Moreover, she and Yang Lei knew that Night Sorrow had cultivated the outer part of the Myriad Tao Tome. After staying for a while, Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu returned to the main building. Night Sorrow, I suddenly feel a little nervous. Did you change? Sikong Chuyu asked with a red face. It's just a little bit, it's fine. Yi Shang said as he sat beside Sikong Chuyu. Okay, if I stick my head out, then I'll be cut. It's not just my problem. Sikong Chuyu also gained some courage and hugged Yi Shang after she finished speaking. After hugging for a while, Night Sorrow carried Sikong Chuyu to the bed. Then, he gently untied Sikong Chuyu's skirt and covered Sikong Chuyu with a blanket. Then, he untied his battle robe and got into bed. The two of them hugged. Sikong Chuyu hesitated for a while. Then, he mustered his courage and reached out to touch Night Sorrow. Ah, this is a little change? Sikong Chuyu punched Night Sorrow's chest with his fist. I didn't want to. I just cultivated the outer part of the Myriad Tao Tome. Because he had enough blood and qi, he changed a little. Night Sorrow smiled and pushed Sikong Chuyu down. Then he leaned over and pressed himself on top of him. Ah, it hurts. You're going to kill me. Slow down. Sikong Chuyu cried out because it was beyond what she could bear. Then, Night Sorrow became gentle. He would not ignore other people's feelings just because he wanted to. The two of them worked together for a long time before they merged perfectly. Yi Shang, you finished cultivating, right? If you change again, you'll have to go through it alone. Sikong Chuyu said as she bit Night Sorrow's ear while feeling the pain that almost tore her apart. I'm done cultivating. I won't change anymore. Night Sorrow smiled and began to move. Slowly, Sikong Chuyu got used to it. This time, the two of them struggled for a long time before they finished. Night Sorrow carried Sikong Chuyu, who was weak all over, and took a shower before returning to bed. We finally passed this stage. I'm tired. Hug me and rest. Sikong Chuyu said as she rested her head on Night Sorrow's arm. Night Sorrow smiled and kissed Sikong Chuyu's forehead. Then, he hugged Sikong Chuyu's waist and the two of them really began to sleep. The two of them woke up at daybreak. Sikong Chuyu helped Yishang tidy up his robe and tidied up her skirt. To be honest, I slept very soundly after all this. She said this as she helped Yishang fix up his robe. Thank you for your hard work. I really didn't mean it. Night Sorrow said apologetically. He knew that he had changed a lot. Sikong Chuyu could barely endure last night. Don't think too much. Didn't we pass last night? It shouldn't be so difficult in the future. Sikong Chuyu held Night Sorrow's hand and said. After washing up, Night Sorrow went to the courtyard to practice spear arts. Sikong Chuyu sat at the side and watched. At this moment, she was like a little girl. Then, Yonglei came over. Chuyu, your face is rosy. It's obvious that you've been nourished by rain and dew. Yeah. Ninth senior sister, are you worried? Sikong Chuyu was now more relaxed. They were all family, so she didn't mind. Oh my god. Is this still you? Yonglei looked at Sikong Chuyu in surprise. Then, she looked at Night Sorrow who was practicing spear arts. You ran so fast yesterday, and now you're bullying me. Sikong Chuyu looked at Yonglei and said. You're the first woman that 13 likes. You're the boss, so I have to be modest. Yonglei said. She was joking, but she was also serious. She had always done this. Ninth senior sister, don't say that. It's just a joke. Sikong Chuyu quickly said. She naturally understood the meaning of Yonglei's words. What are you two talking about? In a while, accompany me to buy some supplementary materials. Then, I'll come back and try to refine pills. I'll see if I can refine the Clear Void Pill and Great Void Pill. Night Sorrow said as he put away his reincarnation spear. Then let's go now. We also want to buy some robes. Yonglei said. We must buy the robes. Other than the 2 robes that Ninth senior sister made with top-quality silk, I only have this one left. If it's destroyed, I'll be naked. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then let's go. Yonglei and Sikong Chuyu stood up and pulled Night Sorrow outside. Chapter 429. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The one on the left is small, but the price is a bit higher. After all, no one wants to move, so it's 40 top-grade crystal stones. The one on the right is the mansion of an elder of the Thunder Rumbling sect. He heard that you want to buy it, so he also wants 40 top-grade crystal stones. He's a bit of a loss at this price. What do you think? Lu Zhenyu said. Since he's giving me face, I'll accept it. I can't let him suffer a loss. What's the normal price? Night Sorrow looked at Manager Lin and asked. The normal price should be 60 top-grade crystals, which is still priceless, Steward Lin said. How about this? We'll give you 80 top-grade crystals. If the one on the left wants a high price, we won't make it up. Night Sorrow said. This was his character. He didn't like to take advantage of others, but he didn't want anyone to take advantage of him. Sure. If that's the case, we'll still be friends. Lu Zhenyu was also very satisfied with Night Sorrow's decision. Then, Night Sorrow took out a small bag of top-grade crystal stones. There were about 150 of them. Steward Lin, I'll have to trouble you with this matter. Help me find a craftsman to deal with this. This is too much. I don't need it at all. With a glance, Steward Lin knew that Night Sorrow had taken out a lot more crystals. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs.com. It's nothing. Steward Lin, please help me arrange for them to rebuild it better, Night Sorrow said with a smile. All right then. You don't have to worry about this matter at night. I'll arrange it later, Steward Lin said. Then let's go in and have a drink first. Night Sorrow said to Lu Zhenyu and Manager Lin. Another day. This time, I still have some things to deal with. I have to go to Starcloud sect immediately. You know the situation there. There are a lot of things to deal with. Lu Zhenyu said. That's fine. Next time, I'll treat Elder Lu to a drink. Night Sorrow understood that Lu Zhenyu was indeed busy, so he didn't continue to insist. Then, Lu Zhenyu and manager Lin left. Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu continued shopping to buy alchemy materials and robes. Now that Yi Shan was rich, he bought a lot of materials and made several sets of robes. The Dongxian city was rich, and he was rich, he had to have crystal stones. After buying everything, the three of them bought some food before returning to the house. Yi Shang began to pack up the materials and then took out the alchemy furnace. The failure of the first batch of clear void pills was within Yi Shang's expectations. After summarizing the experience of failure, he continued to refine. After failing 3 times in a row, Night Sorrow stopped concocting pills because he kept failing while condensing the pills. He took out Feng Chen's pill concoction manual and read it again. Night Sorrow found the crux of the problem. When condensing a 5th-level pill, he needed to use his soul power to control the process. This was also the reason why 5th-level pills were difficult to concoct. After sorting out his emotions and calming down, Night Sorrow continued to concoct pills. This time, he successfully concocted the clear void pill as he wished. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu took a look at the clear void pill and congratulated Night Sorrow. Love, go little, say, W. Chu successfully concocting a 5th-level pill meant that Night Sorrow's pill concoction level had reached the level of a great pill concoction master. After chatting for a while, Yang Lei greeted Night Sorrow and went into seclusion. She wanted to break through to the 3rd level of the Void Inquiry stage. NA Update O Soonest 8, DB. With the help of the top-grade resources provided by Night Sorrow, Yang Lei had reached the peak of the 2nd level of the Void Inquiry stage for quite some time. She was now ready to make a breakthrough. Sikong Chuyu was also at the peak of the 2nd level of the Void Inquiry stage. However, she planned to stabilize her cultivation base first. Night Sorrow asked Sikong Chuyu to cultivate as well while he began his alchemy journey. In half a month's time, Night Sorrow had turned all the materials for the clear void pill into Tier 5 clear void pills. There were over 200 bottles in total. This was definitely a heaven-defying amount of resources. In the various sects, there were almost no 5th-order supplementary medicinal pills. This was also the reason why there were many 5th-order cultivators but not many late 5th-order cultivators. Some of them were nurtured with the resources of their sects and families. The Clear Void Pill and Great Void Pill were the rewards for the unrestricted mission of the blood essence of ice spirits issued by the Tianji Tower. It could be seen how precious 5th-order medicinal pills were. In the Medicine Valley, it was already difficult to supply 4th-order medicinal pills, let alone 5th-order medicinal pills. After keeping the Clear Void Pill, Night Sorrow began to concoct the Great Void Pill. Night Sorrow was confident in concocting the Clear Void Pill. However, he was not confident in concocting the Great Void Pill because the Great Void Pill was a mid-5th-order medicinal pill. It was much more difficult than the Clear Void Pill. With a lot of materials in hand and feeling that his soul power had improved by a lot, Night Sorrow did not hesitate to continue concocting. With the help of his soul power, Night Sorrow was very lucky. He succeeded in concocting the Great Void Pill on his first try. With the experience of success, Night Sorrow continued to concoct. At night, he cultivated his true Qi, myriad Tao Tome, and soul power. During the day, he concocted medicinal pills. While Night Sorrow improved his cultivation, he also turned the materials of the Great Void Pill into medicinal pills. When Night Sorrow put away the alchemy furnace, Steward Lin came. This was not the first time he had come. During this period, he often came because he was in charge of the demolition and reconstruction of the houses on both sides of the Tranquil Heart Villa. The expansion drawings were drawn by Sikong Chuyu. She changed the layout of the 3 houses. The small courtyard where the 3 of them lived did not change because the backyard was deeper. The construction and reconstruction in the front were not affected. The house on the left side of the Tranquil Heart Villa was completely rebuilt into a residence and a small garden. The larger area on the right side was transformed into a pure garden and a large martial arts practice field. Tomorrow, the 3 houses will be connected. After the connection is completed, the reconstruction here will be almost finished, Steward Lin said. I have to thank Steward Lin for this. If I was busy with it, I don't know how long it would take. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Steward Lin and said, "Let's have a simple meal here at noon." Yang Lei, who had successfully broken through and had eaten the void transformation pill, which increased her cultivation base to the peak of the void inquiry stage after stabilizing her cultivation base, walked out and said, "You don't have to be so polite. I still have some things to deal with. If you need anything, you can just inform me in the City Lord's mansion." Steward Lin cupped his fists at Night Sorrow and left. Currently, he was very concerned about Night Sorrow's work. He also had some reverence for him. The first time he helped Night Sorrow with something was arranged by Lei Hua. This time, it was arranged by Lu Zhenyu. As long as Steward Lin was not a fool, he would know that Night Sorrow's position in the City Lord's mansion was not as simple as a law enforcer. After the construction here, it won't be a house anymore. It will be a huge mansion. There aren't many mansions like this in Eastern Profound City. Yang Lei said with a smile. She was happy that Night Sorrow had such an achievement. Chu Yu has been in seclusion for 2 days, but there is still no news from her. Night Sorrow said while looking at Sikong Chuyu's house. "It's just a breakthrough. There is no need to worry," Yang Lei said. "I know. Besides, I have concocted a lot of 5th grade pills during this period of time. Let's return to the Medicine Valley later and send the pills back to the sect. My senior martial brother and 6th senior martial sister need them," Night Sorrow said. "All right. They will definitely be very happy," Yang Lei said. Chapter 430. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second. Go? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Did you just realize that 9th senior sister is beautiful? Yang Lei said with a smile. "I've always known." Night Sorrow took Yang Lei's hand and walked towards the main building. "What are you doing? It's broad daylight." Yang Lei blushed. How could she not know what Night Sorrow was thinking? This has nothing to do with day or night. When they reached the entrance of the main building, Night Sorrow bent down and picked up Yang Lei. Yang Lei hugged Night Sorrow's neck and leaned her head on Night Sorrow's chest. After entering the bedroom, Night Sorrow put Yang Lei, who had just taken a shower and whose hair was still wet, on the bed. Then, he stripped Yang Lei, took off his clothes and pounced on her. "You!" Seeing Night Sorrow's change, Yang Lei's rosy face was full of shock. "Hey, it's okay." Night Sorrow pressed on Yang Lei's body. "How can it be okay? You're too scary." Yang Lei pushed Night Sorrow's chest and said, "Chu Yu is fine." Night Sorrow said and kissed Yang Lei's red lips at the same time. When Night Sorrow hugged her back to the room, she was aroused. Just now, she was just scared by Night Sorrow. Now, after being attacked by Night Sorrow, she immediately entered the zone. After a crazy toss, the two didn't rest until the afternoon sun shone in through the window. "You don't care about senior sister at all." Yang Lei rolled her eyes at Night Sorrow and took her skirt to take a shower. After taking a shower, the two went to the courtyard and drank tea in the cool breeze. "When are we going back to Medicine Valley?" Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. "It's fine. There's no rush. Let's wait for Chu Yu to finish her seclusion. She can go to Bamboo Forest Peak to stabilize her cultivation. I can also go to Danding Cliff to cultivate," Night Sorrow said. While the two of them were talking, Sikong Chu Yu, who was wearing a light yellow silk dress, came out of the room and into the courtyard. Sikong Chu Yu sat down and said, "Judging from the redness on your faces and the fact that you've just taken a shower, I knew you two were up to no good. Chu Yu, we plan to go back to the Medicine Valley and deliver some medicinal pills to our senior brothers and sisters." Night Sorrow changed the topic. "Sure. I also prefer the Bamboo Forest Peak and the Dragon Spring Courtyard. After I stabilize my cultivation there, eating the void pill is the same," Sikong Chu Yu said. "All right, let's set off now. We'll rest at Bamboo Forest Peak tonight." "Love, go little, say," Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow was a person who did what he said. He didn't like to drag things out. Sikong Chu Yu and Yang Lei had no objections. Night Sorrow went to the front yard and greeted Ning Qing Feng. The house was still under construction, so he had to inform Ho Jian and the others when they arrived. After greeting Ning Qing Feng, the three of them rode on their flying demonic beasts and took off from Qingxin Cottage, flying toward the teleportation array. Their flying mounts attracted a lot of attention because their mounts were all top grade. Tianyu's body was snow white, and his beak and claws were glowing with a greenish gold light. Anyone who wasn't a fool would know that he was a demonic beast. Yang Lei's rank 5 black-feathered eagle was also very handsome. It should be known that rank 5 mounts were very rare. Sikong Chuyu's fire phoenix was very beautiful. At this time, its cultivation had reached rank 4, level 7. Chuyu, if your fire phoenix wants to advance, it needs an opportunity, Yang Lei said. Yes, it is now an adult. If there is no opportunity, it can only reach the peak of rank 4, Sikong Chuyu said. Love, go little say, Ku, don't worry. As long as it's possible, there will be a chance, Night Sorrow said. You can count on Night Sorrow. I don't see anything he can't do, Yang Lei said after the three of them got off their mounts at the teleportation array. Night Sorrow only smiled. He could only try his best. He couldn't refuse. After paying the teleportation fee, the three of them were teleported to Danding City. Looking at the glittering golden flame palace, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei gave up on the idea of seeing Yu Yangyu. No one knew if Yu Yangyu was cultivating or not. The three of them walked around the city lord's mansion. Yang Lei asked about the situation symbolically, then rode her flying beast to Longquan Courtyard. After not seeing Aoi and the people from Taishan Peak at Longquan Courtyard, the three of them flew towards Danding Mountain. Soon, the three of them arrived at Taishan Peak. In the Taishan Palace, Night Sorrow saw Wu Qi and Huanan. Third senior brother. You're back too. Looking at Huanan, Night Sorrow greeted him happily. Golden Flame City is already on track. I didn't have anything to do, so I came back to take a look. I haven't been separated from my senior and junior brothers, so I missed them, Huanan said. Then we're all here. I'll send someone to call eldest senior brother over. Let's get together tonight. 13. Your cultivation speed is really shocking. Your senior brothers and sisters will be very happy to see you, Wu Qi said emotionally. He was at the peak of the spirit severing stage and was still refining his qi. Then, Wu Qi sent a disciple from Taishan Peak to inform the other senior and junior brothers. Then, the three of them walked towards the bamboo grove. Before they even arrived at the bamboo grove, they could already hear Qing Ji's tender roar, as well as the screams of other people. When they arrived, they saw what was going on. Aoi was teaching her and Yang Lei's disciples a lesson. Unavoidably, she was holding a rattan in her hand. Ninth junior sister, 13, Chuyu, you're all back. Originally, I planned to call third senior brother over for a drink tonight. Now, I have to call the others over. Aoi raised her hand and threw the rattan to Shen Rong, who was beaten up just now. Greetings. Senior uncles. Shen Rong, who was holding the rattan, brought the other junior brothers and sisters to greet them. Look at your 13th senior uncle. He's already at the Void Inquiry stage. 13. You've advanced to the Void Inquiry stage? After checking Night Sorrow's cultivation base, Aoi was stunned. She was now at the 8th level of the spirit severing stage. She could see Night Sorrow's cultivation base. I just broke through some time ago. Night Sorrow pulled Aoi to sit down and said. Among his senior brothers and sisters, other than Yang Lei, he was the closest to Aoi. You rascal. Every time we don't meet for a while, you'll scare your senior sister. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said. Senior sister, how have you been recently? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. What do you mean? None of these bastards are easy to deal with. They joined the sect 1 year after you, and 2 of them joined the sect at the same time as you. None of them can compare to you. Aoi said angrily. Master, if all of us can be compared to 13th senior uncle, then our Medicine Valley will unify the entire Eastern Profound region. Shen Rong mumbled. You still dare to talk back? Aoi said and was about to teach Shen Rong a lesson. 6th junior sister. Shen Rong is right. They are indeed very hardworking. It's only right for them to set 13 as their goal. However, you can't use 13 standards against them. Gong Xian appeared in the bamboo grove with a smile. Eldest senior brother. Night Sorrow and the others bowed to greet him. Chapter 431. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. It has been 2.5 years since I entered the sect. Yi Shan nodded. Yi Shan nodded. All right. Senior brother has nothing to say. Once everyone is here, we'll start drinking. How delightful! Gong Xian said with a smile. In just a short while, Night Sorrow's senior martial brothers had all arrived at the small building in the bamboo forest. When they saw Night Sorrow's cultivation base, all of them were extremely shocked. Well, there's no need to talk about how fast his cultivation base has improved. My senior martial brothers probably don't know about how 13 killed a Void Inquiry stage dark zombie all by himself. Yang Lei said with a smile. 13th hockey. Shi Tianlin gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Currently, Yu Yongyu's disciples were progressing towards the Void Inquiry stage one after another. Gong Xian, Yang Lei and Hua Nan had all entered the Void Inquiry stage. Currently, Mo Chen's cultivation base was at the 5th level of the Spirit Severing stage, followed by the 8th level of the Spirit Severing stage. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs.com. I'll give everyone some more resources, Night Sorrow said. 13. Senior brother and senior sister can't finish the resources you gave us last time. We don't need them anymore, Aoi said. Last time, I gave you Tier 4 cultivation resources. This time, it's something else. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he took out a portion of the clear void pills and great void pills he had refined. Aoi reached out and opened the pill bottle. After taking a look, she was stunned. It's a 5th grade clear void pill, and it's fresh out of the furnace. TTT 35. They were all made by 13 recently. Yang Lei proudly hugged Night Sorrow's arm and said, "These 2 bottles contain clear void pills. There are exactly 3 pills for each person." Night Sorrow pointed at 2 of the bottles and said, 13, if you can concoct rank 5 pills, then you're an alchemy grandmaster. Ahoy, who had been studying alchemy, said, "It doesn't matter if I'm a master or not. What's important is that senior brother and senior sister need the medicinal pills. I can refine them," Night Sorrow said. Haha. After 13 entered the sect, everyone's luck turned for the better. There was no shortage of cultivation resources, and everyone's cultivation base rose in a straight line, Gong Xian said with a smile. After that, Wuxia and the others distributed the clear void pills and void pills. Here are 20 bottles of clear void pills. Eldest senior brother, you take them. When senior brother and senior sister need them, you can distribute them. Night Sorrow took out some more pills. 13 put it away. You need it too. Senior brother and senior sister only need some. Gong Xian said with a frown. He did not want to delay his own cultivation just because Night Sorrow wanted to help others. Eldest senior brother, don't worry. I can concoct pills myself. I don't lack medicinal pills, Night Sorrow said with a shake of his head. All right, second junior brother, you take them. It's not suitable for me to take them. Why don't I distribute the resources to the others in the Medicine Valley? Gong Xian said with a smile. Sixth junior sister, you take them. It's not suitable for me and eldest senior brother to take these resources, Wuxia said with a smile. That's true. You are both people of status. One is responsible for all the disciples in the Medicine Valley, and the other is responsible for all the disciples in the Taishan Peak. However, 13's current resources are only for senior brother and senior sister, Huanan said. All right. Then I'll take them. If you need them, come to me. I'll be your housekeeper, Aoi said with a smile. Eldest senior brother, what's Master's situation now? Where is he? Night Sorrow asked. Gong Xian then told him about Yu Yongyu's situation. Yu Yongyu had been staying in the Golden Flame Hall to cultivate. He had entered the Venerable Realm and had the help of the Golden Flame Hall, so he was currently improving his cultivation at full speed. Knowing that Yu Yongyu was improving his cultivation at full speed, Night Sorrow dismissed the idea of paying him a visit. After drinking together, Night Sorrow and the other 2 returned to the bamboo forest peak. Ninth senior sister, Chu Yu, I plan to go to Danding Cliff to cultivate for a while and improve my cultivation, Night Sorrow said after sitting in the courtyard of the bamboo forest peak and drinking a pot of tea. All right, go ahead. While I'm stabilizing my cultivation, Chu Yu also needs to do the same. After that, she'll take the void level pill and cultivate, Yang Lei said. After that, Night Sorrow rode Tianyu to Danding Cliff. After sending Tianyu away, Night Sorrow bowed to Elder Su and began to climb the cliff. Seeing Night Sorrow climbing the cliff, Elder Su did not need anyone to report to him and directly returned to the Danding Palace. At this moment, Gong Xian, the Great Elder and Chu Ling Xiao were talking in the Danding Palace. Elder Su is here. Take a seat. The Great Elder waved his hand at Elder Su.
Elder Su might be the weakest among the elders in the Medicine Valley, but he was definitely the most respected one because he had dedicated everything he had to the Medicine Valley.
Great Elder, do you know that 13 has advanced to the 5th rank Void Inquiry stage? Elder Su asked excitedly. We're just talking about it.
Not only did he advance to the 5th rank, but he also concocted quite a number of 5th rank pills and distributed them to his senior martial brother and senior martial sister.
This means that he's also a pill refinement master. The Great Elder said with a smile. The sect must pay attention to this.
We must. He's the hope of our Medicine Valley. Elder Su said excitedly.
Elder Su, don't be so excited. The main thing is, how can we pay attention to him? He doesn't want to be the young Valley Master even if we offered him the position. It's not like he lacks resources.
The Great Elder said with a bitter smile.
That's right. He really doesn't need anything. He has done too much for the Medicine Valley. From finding the Sacred Cauldron Scripture to defeating the Golden Flame Sect, every single one of his deeds is of great significance to the Medicine Valley. Finding the Sacred Cauldron Scripture is equivalent to rebirth the Medicine Valley. Defeating the Golden Flame Sect and allowing the Medicine Valley to stand tall in the Eastern Profound Domain. Elder Su said emotionally. Wait a moment. I'll go and ask Grand Elder Hua and the other Grand Elders for their opinions. This matter is giving me a headache too. The Great Elder said. Elder Su nodded and left the Pill Cauldron Hall. Night Sorrow directly rushed to 7,000 meters and continued climbing upwards. Normally, climbing from 7,000 meters to 7,100 meters should not be too stressful. However, that was not the case. Night Sorrow exhausted all his true qi, the energy of the myriad Tao Tome and the spiritual qi of the profound jade to reach the 7,100-meter platform. Sitting on the 7,100-meter platform, Night Sorrow began his cultivation. After cultivating for 5 days, Night Sorrow cultivated the energy of the myriad Tao Tome to the 7th level of the consolidation realm. While stabilizing the cultivation of the myriad Tao Tome, Night Sorrow cultivated his soul power and true qi. At the same time, the energy of his innate bloodline was constantly rushing towards the 4th energy point. Staying on the 7,100-meter platform, Night Sorrow began his daily cultivation. Time slipped away bit by bit. Night Sorrow cultivated for 1 month and only then did his true qi cultivation reach the peak 1st level of the Void Inquiry stage. The pressure of the 7,100-meter platform was not small. However, with the protection of the energy of the myriad Tao Tome, Night Sorrow began to break through on the spot. Since his true qi was abundant, it was not difficult for Night Sorrow to condense his true qi halo. After spending half a day, his true qi cultivation base reached the 2nd level of the Void Inquiry stage. After that, he stabilized his true qi cultivation base and continued cultivating the myriad Tao Tome and his soul power. Chapter 432. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow did not continue climbing Danding Cliff. Riding on his Tianyu, he arrived at the North Pole Peak. Night Sorrow saw Qin Zhen practicing swordsmanship in the valley where Yan Beibei was cultivating. Night Sorrow. When he saw Yi Shang, Qin Zhen waved his hand and put away his long sword. He directly arrived in front of Yi Shang and punched Yi Shang's shoulder. What Night Sorrow? Call him Martial Uncle. Yan Beiji came out and reprimanded Qin Zhen. Martial Uncle Yan, Qin Zhen and I are brothers. Let's not talk about other things, Night Sorrow said. That's right, Martial Uncle. I don't think Night Sorrow will care about these things, Qin Zhen said. All right then. All right, you two can continue chatting. Yi Shang, you've made a big fuss. You've entered the 5th stage before the age of 20. Now, the Great Elder is looking for the Grand Elder and the Peak Lords to discuss your matter. You two can continue chatting. Yan Beibei smiled and left the Colonel stage 5? Night Sorrow, you've entered stage 5? Qin Zhen looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. I just entered not long ago.
Night Sorrow said as he took out a jar of wine. The distance between us is getting bigger and bigger.
Qin Zhen's face darkened.
Your cultivation speed is already amazing.
Take it slow. What's the rush? Night Sorrow said with a smile.
I want to get closer to you as soon as possible so that I can train with you, but...
Qin Zhen said with a sigh. What does this have to do with cultivation?
If you want to go out, we can go out together. However, the outside world is very dangerous.
Most of the time, we're walking the line between life and death, Night Sorrow said. Really? I don't care about life and death. Life and death are predestined. Aren't cultivators supposed to fight against the heavens?
Qin Zhen said with a smile.
That's good. You can talk to Martial Uncle Yen later. If he agrees, you can go to the bamboo forest peak to look for me. I'll be returning to Dongxian City soon, Night Sorrow said.
All right then, I'll look for you later. The Qin Zhen was so excited that he gulped down the wine jug in one gulp.
Night Sorrow gave the spirit congealing pills and meditation pills in the storage ring to Qin Zhen, and then drove Tianyu back to the bamboo forest peak. The second grade of the Void Inquiry stage. You're advancing 1 grade per month. Don't tell me you're planning to break through to the Venerable Realm within a year? Yang Lei said with a smile.
Hee, ninth senior sister, stop joking around, Night Sorrow said with a chuckle.
At this time, except for Yang Yu, all the high-ranking officials of the Medicine Valley were present in the Pill Tripod Hall. Then, the Great Elder told them about Night Sorrow's situation.
There has never been a Void Inquiry stage cultivator who is less than 20 years old in the history of cultivation.
However, such a person has appeared in our Medicine Valley. Now, tell us about his arrangements. Hua Yunpeng said. The problem is that he isn't interested in the position of the young Valley Lord. What can we do? He has plenty of pills and resources. It can be said that we can't give him anything. Yan Beiji said. This is really a difficult problem to solve. Duan Lei of the Cloud Sea Peaks said. A Void Inquiry stage cultivator is qualified to become an elder. However, he's only 20 years old. It's not suitable for him to be an elder.
The Great Elder knocked his walking stick on the ground and said.
Then we'll add another Vice Valley Lord. He doesn't need to be in charge of anything. He's the signboard that we want. Hua Yunpeng said. After that, everyone passed. Night Sorrow became the third Vice Valley Lord of the Medicine Valley. Of course, Night Sorrow was still unaware of it. This guy is really troublesome. While he solved the problem of our Medicine Valley, he also gave us a difficult problem.
The Great Elder said with a smile.
Although it's a difficult problem, I feel that the more such problems there are, the better. Duan Lei said with a smile. While Night Sorrow was drinking tea and chatting with the two women, Hua Yunpeng and the Great Elder arrived. When they arrived, they directly placed a token in front of Night Sorrow. What kind of token is this? Yang Lei took the token and took a look at it.
After taking a look at it, Yang Lei was stunned because there was a golden medicinal cauldron on the token.
The token of a Vice Valley Lord?
It's the token of a Vice Valley Lord.
13. The sect can't give you anything. This is your token in the Medicine Valley. Hua Yunpeng said. Look at Section B of Chapter M of the FS version. Supreme Elder, Great Elder, this is not appropriate. I don't have time to manage anything. Hurry up and take back the order.
Night Sorrow said with a bow.
It's too late.
Your eldest senior brother and senior brother Chu have already informed all the disciples of the Medicine Valley.
Almost all the disciples of the Medicine Valley probably know about this. If you refuse, it will be a slap in the face to me and the Supreme Elder. The Great Elder said with a smile as he took the tea that Sikong Chuyu brewed. Disciple can only accept the order, but I really don't have time to manage this matter. Night Sorrow said. There are some things that everyone knows. No one arranged for you to do anything. In the future you can do whatever you want. Just know that the Medicine Valley is your home. Hua Yunpeng nodded and said. While they were talking, Qin Zhen arrived at the bamboo forest peak on his tiger eagle. Kid, why are you here?
The Great Elder looked at Qin Zhen and asked.
Disciple has asked Grandmaster. I want to follow Martial Uncle Yi to explore the world. Qin Zhen bowed to Hua Yunpeng and the Great Elder and said his decision. Good.
You and Knight Sorrow are the most outstanding disciples in the history of the Medicine Valley. Your path is indeed outside. I won't stop you. The Great Elder nodded and said. After chatting for a while, Hua Yunpeng and the Great Elder left. While Knight Sorrow was resting in the Medicine Valley, people from the Eastern Xian region headquarters came again. It was the headquarters supervisor, Lan Yuxuan, and 2 other men. Chief Enforcer Yin Shui. Is Knight Sorrow here? After arriving at the headquarters of the Tianji Tower, Lan Yuxuan directly asked about Knight Sorrow's situation. Some time ago, after Knight Sorrow had entered the Fifth Order, the Eastern Xian region's Tianjin Tower had reported his situation to the headquarters. If he passed the examination, then Knight Sorrow's Heaven's Fate test would officially end. He should have returned to the Medicine Valley. Yin Shui said. We'll have to trouble Chief Enforcer Yin Shui to take us there. The other supervisor said. I can't leave the Tianji Tower yet. The situation in the Eastern Xian region is complicated. I have to stay here. Yin Shui said. What's wrong? What's the problem? Lan Yuxuan asked. Yin Shui then explained the recent situation in the Eastern Xian region. It's really serious. You should tell the headquarters about this. We'll bring some people over. Lan Yuxuan said. Don't worry. It's still under Master K's control. Yin Shui said. How about this? Chief Enforcer Yin Shui. Send someone to inform Knight Sorrow to return. We'll also go to the dark space to take a look. This isn't a small matter. The headquarters should know about the Tianji Tower in the Eastern Xian region. Lan Yuxuan said. All right, I'll arrange for someone to call him over. Yin Shui said. Chapter 433. A Genius Remembering Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I'm very sorry about that. Normally, the branch master only sends orders, and I can't see him. However, Yi Shang can see the branch master. When Yi Shang comes, we'll talk about this, said Yin Shui. I've long heard of Master Wu Kei's fame, but I've never had the chance to meet her, a man said. Guan Yun, Supervisor Yin Shui. You should know him. This is Supervisor Ling. Lan Yuxuan introduced. The one who wanted to meet Consort Wu was Ling Jian. Supervisor Ling, I've been in the Eastern Xian region for a long time, but I've only met Master Wu Kei twice, Yin Shui said with a smile. There are only a few people who can be called invincible in the 9 regions and 18 prefectures, and Master Wu Kei is the strongest among them. It's a pity that I can't meet her, Ling Jian said with a sigh. Yes. Master Wu Kei is unwilling to leave the Eastern Xian region. Otherwise, Lan Yuxuan didn't continue. Knight Sorrow was talking to Qin Zhan about the outside world. I'm now a purple follower of Tianji Tower. I don't know when I'll have the qualifications to join Tianji Tower, Qin Zhan said with clenched fists. Once you reach the 4th step, you'll have the qualifications to join the Black Watch. It won't take long. When we return to Dongxian City, I'll talk to the higher-ups and enlist you in the Blood Strike Guard, Knight Sorrow said to Qin Zhen. Thank you, Martial Uncle 13. I'm still not used to calling you Martial Uncle, Qin Zhen said while rubbing the back of his head. We were friends and brothers before we entered the Medicine Valley. So don't worry about this issue of seniority when we're not in the sect, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Then I'll call you Brother 13. Qin Zhen bowed to Knight Sorrow. Okay, that's it. Knight Sorrow helped Qin Zhen up. While they were chatting, Enforcer Dong arrived at the bamboo forest peak with a man wearing a bronze mask. Lord Yi, Tianji Tower hopes that you can return as soon as possible, the masked Tianji Tower inspector said. All right, I will return to Dongxian City tonight, Knight Sorrow said to the Tianji Tower inspector. This time, there are a few big shots from the headquarters. I guess they are here to investigate your affairs. It's better to go back early. The inspector from Tianji Tower bowed to Knight Sorrow and left. After the people from Tianji Tower left, Knight Sorrow looked at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Let's bid farewell to senior brother and head to Dongxian City. The situation there is rather tense. Baidu search love, go xiao say. www.aichux.com. All right. Qin Zhen, do you have anything else? If not, we will depart in a bit, Yang Lei asked Qin Zhen. No, we can depart at any time. Qin Zhen was in high spirits.
13. I can't be an unqualified master. I plan to bring Jiang Ziming and the others to Dongxian City and let them see more. After all, our mansion is big enough. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked, All right, we have 4 flying mounts. We can teleport them to Danding City. Night Sorrow nodded. After bidding farewell to Aoi and the others, Night Sorrow brought Jiang Ziming, Xiang Ding, and he Miao to Danding City and teleported to Dongxian City. Senior Sister Jiao, Chu Yu, bring them around Dongxian City and broaden their horizons. I will go to Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow said after exiting the teleportation formation. Go ahead. Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei nodded. Night Sorrow rode on his Tianyu and rose into the sky. After putting on his mask, he went straight to Tianji Tower. On the top floor of Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow saw Yin Shui, Lan Yuxuan, Ling Jian, and Guan Yun. Second grade Void Inquiry Stage Cultivation Base. Qi Essence that is over 3 zhang asterisk. 3. 33 m per zhang long. Lan Yuxuan took a deep breath and said after seeing Night Sorrow. There is no problem with your cultivation base. Night Sorrow, can I check your bone age? This is related to the records of our Tianji Tower. Guan Yun asked. Night Sorrow looked at Guan Yun and stretched out his arm. Lan Yuxuan took a step forward and placed her hand on Night Sorrow's wrist. Then, she retreated. Bone age 19. Night Sorrow, do you mind if I give it a try as well? I just want to confirm it. Ling Jian looked at Night Sorrow and asked. He could tell that Night Sorrow did not intend to let others continue to check his bone age after he retracted his arm. I'm from the Eastern Xian region. I really don't care if you acknowledge me or not. You don't have the most basic trust in me, said Yishang. He felt somewhat disgusted at being interrogated like a criminal. You misunderstood. We are not suspecting you. It's just that this matter is very important. Otherwise, the 3 of us wouldn't have come here. Lan Yuxuan looked at Night Sorrow who was frowning and said, Night Sorrow, there is no distinction between our Tianji Tower. Lord Supervisor Lan just returned from Zhanghai City and is very concerned about our matters here. So don't think too much. Yin Shui could tell that Night Sorrow was a little conflicted with Lan Yuxuan and the other 2. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and stretched out his arm again. Ling Jian stretched out his finger to check Night Sorrow's bone age. Then, he nodded to Lan Yuxuan, Ling Jian, and Guan Yun. Chief Protector Yin Shui, his Heaven's Rank assessment has officially ended. Lan Yuxuan said to Night Sorrow. This is a good thing. It seems that in the past 300 years, there hasn't been a member who has completed the 5-star assessment in our Tianji Tower. Yin Shui said. If it was 3 years ago it would be like this. But not now. 3 years ago, there was a member who completed the 5-star assessment in the Southernly region. Lan Yuxuan said. There are really many talented people. Yin Shui sighed. Night Sorrow, when you completed the 4-star assessment, the headquarters issued you a Heaven's Rank mask. However, it didn't have much authority. Now that you have completed the Heaven's Rank assessment, the situation has changed. There are also some special authorities. This is the Tianji Tower's Heaven's Rank Envoy token. After you go to the headquarters to meet the Chief Tower Master, you will officially become the Tianji Tower's Heaven's Rank Envoy. Lan Yuxuan handed a golden token to Night Sorrow. Yi Shang also handed over his old command medallion. These are the resources you need to reach the 5th rank. There are also 300 high-grade crystals. Lan Yuxuan took out some resources from her storage ring. Thank you, Lord Supervisor. Night Sorrow bowed to Lan Yuxuan. You're welcome. In addition, you also have some authorities. For example, Tianji Tower will provide you with weapons that match your attributes and rank. Guan Yun said with a smile. I don't need that for the time being. Night Sorrow said as he touched the reincarnation spear on his back. All right then. Whenever you have any needs, just tell us. Whatever the Extreme Celestial Tower can do, we will do it for you. You know that the Extreme Celestial Tower is a sect that can be found throughout the 9 regions and 18 prefectures, but we only have a few disciples. Do you understand? Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow nodded. Chapter 434. Genius remembers love in 1 second / small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I believe you. Yishan nodded. Yishan nodded. Our Tianji Tower's members roam the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. Which force dares to provoke us? This is because they know the consequences. This is a tradition left behind by our ancestors. As long as you enter the Tianji Tower, you will be protected with all your strength, Lan Yuxuan said. However, Night Sorrow, you have to pay attention to another point. We, Tianji Tower, are proud. If you are defeated and killed by a cultivator the same level, you can only say that you are not as good as them. No one else will care. Yin Shui reminded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He was not afraid of such a challenge. Okay, you just came back from the Medicine Valley. You must be tired. Go and rest. Lan Yuxuan said. Yi Shang nodded and left the Celestial Terminus Tower. After returning to Qingxin Cottage, Night Sorrow stood at the gate and looked around, feeling very satisfied. At this time, the Qingxin villa looked very grand. It was not the kind of luxurious style, but rather delicate with a sense of grandeur. Night Sorrow strode into the mansion. The 3 mansions were connected, and the rebuilt Qingxin Cottage occupied a large area. Hearing some movement on the left, Night Sorrow walked over. After arriving, Night Sorrow saw Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu arranging accommodations for Yang Lei's disciples. Not bad. This is very good. In the future, let the brothers of the Blood Strike Guard move in as well. They will be able to see the Blood Strike Guard's cultivation and fighting style, Night Sorrow said. Is Tianji Tower looking for you for something? Sikong Chuyu asked. It's nothing. After I entered the Void Inquiry stage, the Heaven Rank trial officially ended. Then he gave me a token. Night Sorrow said. It's a good thing that the Heaven's Fate assessment has ended. I've been so busy that I forgot about it, Yang Lei said. There are too many people here, and we don't have enough servants. We need to buy another batch of maidservants. Night Sorrow turned to look at the situation in the house and said. After that, Night Sorrow and the others went to buy 6 or 7 maidservants to take care of the chores in the house. In the evening, Night Sorrow began to cultivate. He was now in a relatively special stage. If his true qi could smoothly increase by another level, then he could eat the Void Dan and increase his cultivation by another level. Another thing was that Night Sorrow's 4th bloodline talent was loosening, but Night Sorrow knew that it wouldn't be that easy to activate it. Look at the original chapter? After analyzing the process of activating the first 3 bloodline energy points, Night Sorrow knew that it would be more difficult to activate the latter bloodline energy points. Not to mention the first and second bloodline energy points. When activating the 3rd bloodline energy point, Night Sorrow experienced twice the difficulty of activating the 2nd bloodline energy point. Night Sorrow felt that activating the 4th bloodline energy point would require twice the amount of energy and difficulty compared to activating the 3rd bloodline energy point. However, Night Sorrow wasn't in a hurry. As long as he could activate it, it would be fine. The length of time wasn't a big problem. Every time Night Sorrow cultivated, he would rely on the Ice Spirit Blood Essence and Soul Crystal. In addition, he also consumed the Spiritual Liquid of Origin, which allowed him to improve in several aspects at the same time. He was very interested in the soul extinguishing / left behind by the Dark Spirit Saint. Night Sorrow wasn't a newbie. He already understood the importance of the soul. The body and the soul were the 2 most important parts of all life forms. When the soul was damaged, even if it didn't die, it would be an idiot. High-level cultivators could achieve an indestructible soul. Even if they didn't have a body, they could still survive. Through this, it could be analyzed that the soul was more important than the body. Cultivators and monsters below the 5th level didn't open up the deep sea, but the soul still existed. It was just that there wasn't an obvious way to manifest it. The soul extinguishing / was a killing move that specialized in attacking the soul. This was also the reason why the Dark Spirit Saint could perish together with his opponent even though his attributes were restrained by the Life Saintess. Night Sorrow cultivated, and so did the others. However, it was only quiet for a few days. This was because Hou Jian, Lei Bao, Lei Zhang, and Nan Liue had all returned. Hou Jian also brought Hou Qingjie with him. Hou Qingjie had also passed the Tianji Tower's dark notice some time ago. He was officially recruited into the Tianji Tower and became a patrol. Night Sorrow introduced Qin Zhen to the others.
Before we arrived at the Medicine Valley, you were able to stand on the same side as Night Sorrow. There's nothing to say. You're a true brother. Qin Zhen, you're Night Sorrow's brother, so you're our brother, Lei Bao said as he patted Qin Zhen's shoulder. Hurry up and enter the 4th level. Our team is waiting for you to join us, Hou Jian also said. Qin Zhen nodded at the others. His face was full of excitement. However, he opened his mouth to say something, but nothing came out. Qin Zhen isn't good at communicating. That's how it is. Regarding cultivation, what do you all have to talk about? Let's go and eat. Night Sorrow waved his arm and led the group to a restaurant to eat and drink. After Night Sorrow finished drinking and brought the group back to the mansion, he met Yin Shui at the door. Chief Enforcer Yin Shui, why are you here? Is something the matter? Night Sorrow asked. Yes. I didn't tell you last time. Inspector Lon and the other two want to meet our K-Lord. When I saw you last time, I forgot to mention this matter. They went to Zhanghai City a few days ago to fight and help us stabilize the situation. When they came back, they brought this matter up again. However, I can't contact K-Lord. Currently, only you can contact K-Lord. Yin Shui revealed the purpose of her visit to Night Sorrow. I don't know if K-Lord will meet them, but I can pass on the message, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. All right, then I'll go back. As for whether K-Lord will meet them or not, you can go to Tianji Tower and inform him. Yin Shui nodded to Night Sorrow. She also knew that no one could make the decision for Wu Lingfei. In addition, although Lan Yuxuan and the others were important figures in the eyes of others, they weren't much in Wu Lingfei's eyes. Cultivation determined height, and Wu Lingfei had this height. After letting Yang Lei and the others return to the mansion, Night Sorrow rode his Tianyu to the mountain peak where Wu Lingfei cultivated. Seeing Yi Shang arrive, Wu Lingfei, who had been meditating, opened her eyes and pointed at a rock not far from her. Aunt Fei, people from Tianji Tower's headquarters are here. I passed the Tianji Tower's Heaven's Fate assessment. Night Sorrow bowed to Wu Lingfei. You entered the 5th order before the age of 20, so it's natural for you to pass the Heaven's Fate assessment. However, you shouldn't go to Tianji Tower's headquarters for the time being. Eastern Profound Region is in troubled times, and it's also a good tempering for you, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow understands. Also, Chief Law Protector Yin Shui just came to find me. She said that the 3 supervisors want to meet you, Aunt Fei, Night Sorrow said. Irritating, but it's not appropriate to not meet them. All right. Aunt Fei will return later. How have you been recently? The main thing is to find ways to increase your spiritual strength. As for your qi cultivation, it will slowly increase, Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow then talked about how he could cultivate spiritual strength. He hoped that this method could be used as a reference for Wu Lingfei. Chapter 435. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I understand. All right, let's go back together. Wu Lingfei stood up and put on her golden mask. With a wave of her hand, she pulled Night Sorrow to her side and flew towards Tianji Tower. Moments later, the two of them arrived at Tianji Tower. All right, you can go back now. If there's anything, we'll go to the same old place to find Auntie Fei. All right, then I'll head back first. Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Lingfei and drove Tianyu away from Tianji Tower, flying towards the mansion. However, he was extremely shocked. The time it took for Wu Lingfei to bring him from the mountain peak to Tianji Tower was less than half the time it took for Lei Hua to fly. What did this mean? This meant that Wu Lingfei was much stronger than Lei Hua. At the very least, she was twice as fast as Lei Hua. After returning to the mansion, Night Sorrow saw that Qin Zhan was in the middle of cultivating his strength. Hou Jian and the others were giving Qin Zhan some advice. After chatting with the group for a while, Night Sorrow went to cultivate. He wanted to improve his soul force as soon as possible. He wanted his soul force to reach the liquid state as soon as possible. Night Sorrow also knew that it wasn't that easy. Many cultivators who had entered the Venerable Realm couldn't reach this level. However, Night Sorrow was not discouraged because of this. He had the cultivation method and soul crystals, so there was no way he could not cultivate. After practicing the basics for a night,
Night Sorrow went to the martial arts practice field to practice his spear arts. He had now cultivated the 7-star brilliant moon spear to the point where he could combine 5 spears into one. The 5 spear lights were very confusing, and the attack power was also much stronger than before. This was the effect brought about by the increase in his cultivation. Then, Night Sorrow went to watch Qin Zhen cultivate. Qin Zhen was very hard-working in his cultivation. His current energy exertion technique was somewhat similar to Hou Jian's, both of which focused on deflecting and rebounding force. Night Sorrow went to see Yang Lei, who was giving pointers to her disciples, and then went to the city lord's mansion. Night Sorrow asked around in the city lord's residence, but he could not find the blood-clad guard's 5th squad. No matter who he asked, no one knew. This made Night Sorrow feel very conflicted. He actually couldn't find his subordinates. Unable to get any answers, Night Sorrow felt quite helpless. He could only tell the manager of the city lord's residence that he wanted to meet with the higher-ups and return to his residence. After some thought and asking Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu for their opinions, Night Sorrow came to a conclusion. Even in the city lord's mansion, only a limited number of people could come into contact with the Bloodstrike guards. That night, someone came to Night Sorrow's residence. It was an old man in green robes. Ning Qingfeng led the old man directly to the backyard, where he saw Night Sorrow, who was cultivating his spear techniques. "I am the city lord's mansion's guardian elder, Kuan Nan. Today, I heard from the manager that you had some matters to attend to," Kuan Nan said. "Greetings, Elder Kuan. It's like this. I am the captain of the Blood-clad Guard's 5th squad, but I can't find them," Night Sorrow said. "It's like this. In the city lord's mansion, the Blood-clad Guard is a secret force that not many people know about. They usually cultivate in the base. Only a few elders know about this," Kuan Nan said. "So that's how it is." Then Night Sorrow understands. "Originally, I bought 2 mansions and built a practice field to make it more convenient for everyone. It seems that there is no need for that," Night Sorrow said as he looked at his residence. "It's good that you have such a plan. I will bring them over later," Kuan Nan said. "Thank you, Elder Kuan." Night Sorrow bowed to Kuan Nan. "There's no need to be polite. I know that you led the 5th squad into battle some time ago. You did very well. In the future, the 5th squad will be stationed here. This will be their 2nd base." Kuan Nan sized up Yishang's residence and said, "That's not a problem. That's what I planned to do when I bought this residence. Brothers can live together and become familiar with each other. In the future, our cooperation will be better," Night Sorrow said. "All right. I went out today to attend to some other matters. I am usually in the city lord's mansion, in the east building. If you need anything, you can find me." Kuan Nan nodded to Night Sorrow and left Night Sorrow's residence. 13. We didn't consider it enough in the past. Now that I think about it, the 5th squad of the Bloodstrike Guard is definitely the trump card of the city lord's mansion, Yang Lei said. "I used to know that they were elites, but I didn't expect them to be of such high standards," Night Sorrow said. "In fact, among the 30 brothers of the Bloodstrike Guard, the oldest is only in his 40s. To be able to cultivate to the peak of the severed spirit stage at this age, and some of them have even reached the 5th level, they are all outstanding cultivators," Sikong Chuyu said. Yang Lei, Hou Jian, and the others nodded. This group of young people with high average strength and potential was very difficult to integrate into a team. After all, there were very few people. The next morning, Kuan Nan sent the 30 Bloodstrike Guards to Night Sorrow's residence. He then left after informing the members of the Bloodstrike Guard. "Greetings, Captain." Xueling led the group of Bloodstrike Guards and bowed to Night Sorrow. "Don't stand on ceremony, everyone. It's like this. I feel that if we are going to fight side by side in the future, we will need to communicate more. That's why I bought 2 mansions." "Xueling, you can arrange for everyone to stay in. There is also a training ground here," Night Sorrow said. "I understand. Thank you for your concern, Captain." Xueling nodded. "All right, don't stand on ceremony. You know these people. These 2 are also my good brothers. We will fight side by side in the future, so let's get to know each other." Night Sorrow introduced Ho Qingjie and Qin Zhen to the rest of the Bloodstrike Guard. After the arrangements were made, Night Sorrow went to find Uncle Feng and asked him to pay more attention to the food in the residence. With nothing to do, Night Sorrow went to Tianji Tower. On the top floor of the Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow met Yin Shui and Lan Yuxuan. Most are new chapter. Section S Supra Night Sorrow is here. Sit down and have some tea. Lan Yuxuan was not wearing her mask. She looked to be in her mid-30s, but her aura was very strong. Night Sorrow nodded and sat opposite the two. Night Sorrow, thank you. It was because of your help that we were able to meet Master Wu Quebec. Lan Yuxuan poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow. It's nothing. I'm just passing on the supervisor's message. By the way, what's the situation with the Nebula sect? Night Sorrow asked. The situation is still very serious, but we are able to stabilize it. The only thing is that we are not sure how many venerable dark spiritual corpses there are. The battle is going on every day. Tianji Tower and the governor's mansion did not lose much strength, but the Nebula sect has suffered a great loss. Yin Shui said. Then I will go back and discuss it. If there is no problem, I will go with my brothers later. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 436. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Don't we have many sovereigns there? Can't we just kill them when they come out to ambush us? Night Sorrow asked with a frown. Love, go little, say Netku, we can't. At most, we can injure them severely. The dark spiritual corpses have a unique escape technique. If they are in danger, they will run back to the spatial tunnel. With that disgusting spatial tunnel as their shield, we can't kill them. Besides, they have enough death energy to replenish themselves, so they can quickly recover and continue to fight us. Yin Shui said with some annoyance. Can't we do this? When they come out to ambush us, we will send our top sovereigns to block the entrance of the spatial tunnel to prevent them from running back. Then, the rest of us will work together to kill them. Night Sorrow said. We can try this method. Send a sovereign to exhaust them first. Don't pressure them too much and don't let them feel danger. Then, send a strong sovereign to block the entrance of the spatial tunnel. This way, everyone can surround and kill them. Yin Shui nodded. Then let's wait for a while and communicate with the sovereigns at the City Lord Mansion. Then we can carry out this plan. Lan Yuxuan said. Okay, I will communicate with the City Lord Mansion later. Even if we can't completely solve the problem, we can still suppress their arrogance. Yin Shui said. Okay, I will go back first and see how to deal with this problem. Night Sorrow stood up and said. After Night Sorrow left, Lan Yuxuan and Yin Shui continued their discussion. We are all thinking about how to kill them, but we didn't think about how to cut off the dark spiritual corpse's escape route. We are really stupid. Yin Shui laughed at herself. He is young and his vision is different from us. This guy has a strong killing intent. This crisis is also a chance for him to train. Anyway, this crisis is nothing. If Master Wu Kei makes a move, then the trouble can be solved at any time. Master Wu Kei's strength is unfathomable. I can't see through her. Lan Yuxuan said with some emotion. If Master Wu Kei wasn't strong, Eastern Xian region wouldn't be so peaceful. Yin Shui said with a smile. That's right. There are frequent domain wars in the other domains, but none of the domain forces have come to the Eastern Xian domain to provoke us, Lan Yuxuan said. Last year, the Gu family from the Qingtian territory came to provoke us, but they ran away before we could do anything about it. Yin Shui recalled that the Gu family had burned down Bamboo Garden Village in the Medicine Valley. Gu's family has been developing very quickly in recent years. They are a little complacent and a little arrogant. They are lucky that they didn't provoke Fire Dance Tower Master this time, Lan Yuxuan said. They didn't offend Mistress Wu Kei, but they offended Night Sorrow. This matter won't end so easily. Yin Shui shook his head. He knew Night Sorrow quite well, and knew that the incident of Gu family cutting off one of Mr. Gu's arms wouldn't end so easily. Currently, Night Sorrow was just not powerful enough. What happened? Lan Yuxuan asked. Then, Yin Shui told her about Sikong Chuyu, Night Sorrow, and Bamboo Garden Town. They actually attacked ordinary people. This matter is too serious. No matter who it is, no one will stop. Gu's family is looking for trouble, Lan Yuxuan said with a sigh. After Night Sorrow returned to his mansion, He went to a secret room and began to cultivate. However, he kept thinking about whether he should continue to participate in the domain wars. Knight Sorrow could ask for the opinions of Hou Jian, Nan Liue, and the Lei brothers. He could decide whether or not to participate in the domain wars. However, the Blood Strike Guards couldn't. They were the guards of the City Lord's mansion. If they wanted to fight, they had to get the City Lord's mansion's order. Love, Gob Little, say W, Chu this time. Knight Sorrow cultivated for 3 days. He only woke up from his cultivation state after turning the Ice Spirit Blood Essence and Soul Crystals in his hands into useless rocks. Then, while chatting with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, the 2 women gave Knight Sorrow some advice. If it wasn't necessary, he should let Hou Jian and the others cultivate first. After all, everyone's cultivation was advancing by leaps and bounds. After thinking about it, Knight Sorrow felt that the 2 women were right. He couldn't drag others into the domain wars just because he wanted to. Hou Jian and Nan Liue hadn't been in the domain wars for long. Their strength was increasing rapidly. Lei Bao and Lei Zhang were trying to break through to the domain wars of the domain wars. They had just eaten the tranquility pill. Hou Qingjie was slower than them, but he had also reached the domain wars of the domain wars. Qin Zhen, who had the lowest cultivation, was improving the fastest. During Yu Yongyu's venerable celebration ceremony, he was at the domain wars of the domain wars. Now, he had reached the domain wars of the domain wars and could enter the domain wars of the domain wars at any time. If Knight Sorrow didn't exist, Qin Zhen might be the most outstanding young disciple in the Medicine Valley. What made Knight Sorrow gratified was that Hou Jian, Nan Liue, and the others were very enthusiastic about Qin Zhen. They didn't reject him because of the difference in cultivation level. They were even willing to feed Qin Zhen moves and help Qin Zhen improve his strength. Seeing that everyone else was cultivating, Knight Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. Original Carat G, Hertz and I5 Heol V is the Pirate Edition. This was the first time Knight Sorrow had brewed tea for others while they cultivated. Knight Sorrow, your qi and blood are getting more and more abundant. The smoke of essence qi has already reached more than 6 zhong * 3. 33 m per zhong. It won't be a problem for you to reach the level where the smoke will soar into the clouds. Sikong Chuyu said. Your cultivation levels are improving very quickly as well. After stabilizing your cultivation levels, it won't be a problem for you to advance to the domain wars of the domain wars. Once you reach the mid-void inquiry stage, your combat power will be improved. Knight Sorrow said. The world is chaotic. Wars may break out at any time. Only with strength will you have confidence. Yang Lei said. Yes. Only with strength will you have confidence. However, it's a little difficult to improve your cultivation level after reaching the void inquiry stage. After all, the energy needed to advance is too great. Knight Sorrow said. After cultivating in Pill Cauldron Cliff for nearly a month, Knight Sorrow only managed to increase his cultivation level by 1 level. This made him understand how difficult it was to improve his cultivation level after reaching the void inquiry stage. You should know that other than the bottleneck, there are also some void inquiry stage cultivators who are stuck at the first level for 10 years or even dozens of years due to a lack of resources. There are many such cases in our Medicine Valley. People like us who don't need to consider the problem of resources and can improve our cultivation levels quickly as long as we cultivate or something that others wouldn't even dare to dream of. Yang Lei said. Knight Sorrow smiled. He knew that the lack of cultivation resources was the problem that all cultivators faced. It was indeed very rare for someone like him who did not need to worry about resources. This was also the reason why all cultivators wanted to join a large sect and squeeze into Tianji Tower. It was because they needed resources. After that, Knight Sorrow took out the resources that Tianji Tower gave him and had a look. They were the Clear Void Pill and the Great Void Pill. However, the quality of the pills was the same as the ones that Knight Sorrow concocted. There was no difference between supreme grade and mid-grade. This was related to the level of a pill refinement master. Pill refinement masters could concoct supreme grade pills that did not have much pill poison when they concocted low-grade pills. However, it was very difficult for pill refinement masters to concoct supreme grade pills like the Clear Void Pill and the Great Void Pill because the requirements were very strict. Chapter 437. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second / Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Then I'll go get it when I have time. We don't lack 5th rank resources, but we still need the people around us. The most important thing is that they give us high-grade spirit stones. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. We don't have high expectations for this. Rank determines the treatment. Knight Sorrow. Do you know the concept of a celestial oracle? Sikong Chuyu looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. I don't know. I don't know what kind of position it is. Knight Sorrow shook his head. He still didn't understand the internal situation of Tianji Tower. There are only a few celestial oracles in Tianji Tower. They have a lot of power. It can be said that except for the Tower Master, Deputy Tower Master, Chief Supervisor, Chief Protector, and the Tower Masters in other regions, everyone else is a subordinate. The celestial oracles are the representatives of the Tower Master and Deputy Tower Master. Sikong Chuyu said. Knight Sorrow was stunned. This concept was a bit general, but he understood the general meaning. Except for a limited number of people in power, everyone else was a subordinate. But I don't think they take me seriously. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. You have the treatment of a celestial oracle now, but you don't have the power because you haven't officially taken up the position. Sikong Chuyu said. Knight Sorrow nodded. He didn't care about this. He wasn't a fan of power and didn't have any desire for power. Otherwise, he wouldn't have refused to take up the position of Young Master of Medicine Valley. One must know that Medicine Valley was now one of the 7 superpowers in Eastern Profound Domain. After chatting with the 2 girls for a while, Knight Sorrow planned to go out and see Kuan Nan. He wanted to see what was going on in Broken Cloud Mountain. Knight Sorrow stopped when he reached the street. He felt that he was being watched. This was his intuition. When Yi Shang stopped, a familiar person appeared not far in front of him. Knight Sorrow was stunned when he saw this person. He didn't expect to meet such a familiar person here. It was the blacksmith uncle who gave him the sky-piercing spear. Why are you surprised? Let's find a place to treat this uncle to a drink. A sloppy-looking blacksmith with a pair of tattered leather shoes said. All right. If Knight Sorrow still didn't know that this blacksmith wasn't simple, then he would be a fool. Finding a restaurant, Knight Sorrow asked for a private room. He took out a jar of green carrot leopard bone wine and poured a bowl for the blacksmith. I know you have a lot of questions, but I can't tell you too much. It's already against the rules to look for you today, the blacksmith said after taking a sip of wine. Knight Sorrow nodded. All right, uncle, please speak. This junior will listen. Someone wants to kill you. The news came from the Qingtian region. The Assassin Hall of the Eastern Xian region has rejected this mission. However, there will still be people who will carry out this mission. So, you have to be careful. The blacksmith drank another bowl of wine and said, Thank you for your advice, Senior. Knight Sorrow stood up and bowed to the blacksmith. It's nothing. I just don't want to see anything happen to you. It's fine as long as you know. The blacksmith stood up and glanced at Knight Sorrow. Then, he stood up and left the restaurant. When he left, he even held the jar of wine in his hand. Knight Sorrow took out another jar of wine and poured half a bowl for himself. He thought as he tasted the wine. At this moment, he understood that this blacksmith uncle was most likely a member of the Assassin Hall, one of the top forces in the Eastern Xian city. Knight Sorrow couldn't understand why someone from another region would give him a mission to kill him. He hadn't even left the Eastern Xian region. If he had a grudge, it would be with the Sikong family and Jiyu family of the Qingtian region. However, if he had a grudge with them, he would be the one taking revenge. Why would they want to kill him? After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow felt that he should wait for the opinions of Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Perhaps he could come up with some other ideas. After leaving the restaurant, Knight Sorrow went to the city lord's mansion and met with Elder Kuan Nan. Knight Sorrow asked about the situation at the Broken Cloud Mountain of the Star Cloud sect. I heard that they were blocking the entrance of the spatial tunnel. They caught a dark spirit corpse and killed it. However, after one of the dark spirit corpses was killed, they became smarter. They didn't give us a chance to surround and kill them. They fought with us at the entrance of the spatial tunnel. If they couldn't win, they would retreat. Kuan Nan said. These bastards are quite smart. Knight Sorrow was a little dissatisfied that they only killed one dark spirit corpse. YJT-74 version 1-inch. Their intelligence is indeed high. However, they can't do anything for now. Our people have killed most of the dark spirit corpses. Only a small portion of them are roaming around the area. Kuan Nan said. Then it's not a big problem. Night Sorrow felt a little more at ease. No, the problem now is big. Previously, when Elder Dai Tiancheng and Elder Lei blocked the entrance of the spatial tunnel and were about to kill a dark spirit corpse, a large hand reached out from the spatial tunnel and forced Elder Lei and Elder Dai to retreat. Although it was unexpected, we can still guess that there was a strong person inside the spatial tunnel. Kuan Nan said. How could that be? Night Sorrow's body trembled. Attacking through the spatial tunnel was a heaven-defying method. After analyzing it, we found that the fellow was strong. However, it was still far from our City Lord's level. That spatial tunnel didn't reject the death energy, so it didn't affect its attack. It was completely different from the City Lord's ability to catch a half-step venerable from the spatial tunnel. Kuan Nan said. That's good. Do you need me to lead the Bloodstrike Guard into battle? Night Sorrow asked, breathing a sigh of relief. The Bloodstrike Guard Squad 5 that you lead is currently at a stage where its potential is rising. Using actual combat to train is the best way to cultivate. You can make the decision yourself. This is the City Lord's will. The resources of the Bloodstrike Guard Squad 5 are provided by the City Lord's Mansion, but the City Lord's Mansion won't participate in other aspects. You can make the decision on your own. Night Sorrow nodded. I understand. I'll ask the Bloodstrike Guard brothers for their opinions. Don't worry about that. The Bloodstrike Guard Squad 5 has expressed their willingness to follow you. They will follow your decision. Kuan Nan nodded. Night Sorrow then left the City Lord's mansion. The brothers of the Bloodstrike Guard Squad 5 were willing to follow him. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He was very touched. This was the trust of brothers. When he returned to the mansion, Yi Shang saw the Bloodstrike Guards sparring and cultivating their battle skills. Yang Lei was also training with her disciples. Night Sorrow waved at Yang Lei. Yang Lei informed Jiang Ziming and went to Night Sorrow's side. Sikong Chuyu had also brewed a pot of tea. What's wrong? Did something happen? Yang Lei asked. Things are a little troublesome. Someone from the assassination hall has placed a bounty on me. Night Sorrow explained the details to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. There's no one else besides the Jiyu family. It seems like they have infiltrated the eastern Xian region. However, they don't have much power. They can only obtain information, but they can't do anything about it. That's why they asked the assassination hall to take action. Sikong Chuyu's face was filled with anger. She knew that this was the trouble she had brought to Night Sorrow. Don't worry. I'm already prepared. They won't succeed so easily, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 438. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? Here's a wonderful novel for you to read. Night Sorrow then went to the City Lord's manor and told Kuan Nan about the matter. Love, go little, say W. Chu, how audacious. You're a law enforcer of the City Lord's manor. They actually dared to put a bounty on you. You don't have to worry about this. I'll deal with it. Kuan Nan was furious when he heard Night Sorrow's words. Elder Kuan, it's nothing. You're just helping me investigate. If anyone from the Qingtian region comes, just let me know. If they dare to come, I won't kill them, but I'll definitely kill them, said Yishan. I know. Kuan Nan nodded at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow left the City Lord's manor and returned to his own residence. Kuan Nan thought for a moment, then left the City Lord's manor and went to the mountain where Wu Lingfei was cultivating. What's wrong? Broken Cloud Mountain can't hold on anymore? Wu Lingfei opened her eyes and looked at Kuan Nan. It's not about Broken Cloud Mountain. It's about Night Sorrow. Kuan Nan bowed. Night Sorrow? What happened to Night Sorrow? Wu Lingfei stood up. It's the Hall of Assassins. They accepted the mission to kill Night Sorrow. The Hall of Assassins in the Eastern Xian region refused to carry out the mission, but there are still people who can carry out the mission. Kuan Nan told her the purpose of his visit. How audacious! Wu Lingfei's body flashed and she left the mountain. Seeing Wu Lingfei's figure disappear, Kuan Nan hurriedly flew toward Dongxian City. Soon, Wu Lingfei stood in front of the Hall of Assassins pavilion. With a wave of her hand, she shattered the lintel of the Hall of Assassins along with the main door. No need to hide. Get out here. Wu Lingfei roared after shattering the lintel of the Hall of Assassins pavilion. Following Wu Lingfei's words, a few people dressed in different clothes appeared. The one in the lead was a merchant. "Greetings, Lord Quebec," the old merchant bowed to the golden-masked Wu Lingfei. "The Hall of Assassins can now accept missions to kill the core members of the Eastern Xian region's Tianji Tower?" Wu Lingfei asked coldly. "Lord K, please calm down. I will go and investigate the situation." The old merchant's eyes were filled with shock. Wu Lingfei's aura, he couldn't circulate the energy in his body. "I'll tell you now. If this mission continues, I'll go to the 9 regions and 18 prefectures and wipe out all the members of your assassination hall. Don't doubt my ability. You can't make the decision, so just send my words back to the headquarters. Tell your hall master that this is my will. I used to be called the Golden Phoenix." Wu Lingfei waved her arm again and the top floor of the assassination hall was blown away. "I will pass the message to the headquarters." The fat merchant, who was the person in charge of the Hall of Assassins, bowed again. "Also, bring the information of the next Hall of Assassins to Tianji Tower. Don't talk to me about the rules of the Hall of Assassins. In my eyes, my fists are the rules." Wu Lingfei's voice wasn't loud, but it was absolutely domineering. At this time, Kuan Nan arrived, followed by a group of black iron guards. "Lord." Kuan Nan bowed to Wu Lingfei. "Clean up." After saying these 2 words, Wu Lingfei's body flashed and left the Hall of Assassins. "Elder Protector." The fat merchant wiped the sweat from his forehead. "Elder Mu, you didn't do the right thing this time." Kuan Nan said. "Elder Protector, this way please." Wuxia said. The Hall of Assassins was very strong, but that was only relative. They were inferior to the City Lord's mansion and Tianji Tower. Wuxia led Kuan Nan across the dilapidated building to the backyard of the Hall of Assassins. "Elder Protector, what's going on?" Wuxia said with some hesitation. "Your Hall of Assassins has a mission to hunt down Knight Sorrow, right? You should have investigated. With his excellent qualifications, do you think his position in Tianji Tower is low? He's definitely a core member. Also, to tell you the truth, he's also a guard of the City Lord's mansion." Kuan Nan sat down and said, "We were really foolish this time. Elder Kuan, you know that we can investigate some information, but we don't interfere with the Tianji Tower and the City Lord's mansion, so there are some things that we don't know. I found out that he contributed a lot to the Eastern Xian region on the Island of Darkness, so I refused to carry out the mission." Wuxia said. "It's because you refused the mission that you are safe. Now you can only do as the Lord says. Pass the message to the headquarters. I believe they will make a decision." Kuan Nan said to Wuxia. His attitude was very good. It wasn't the first time he met Wuxia, and they had some friendship. "Okay, I almost got into big trouble. Wuxia, know about Lord Golden Phoenix. I didn't expect to see Lord Golden Phoenix under such circumstances." Wuxia said with a bitter smile. Kuan Nan then left the Hall of Assassins. He knew that as long as Wu Ling concubine's name reached the Hall of Assassins, this matter would come to an end. "You bastards, come over here!" Wuxia shouted at the blacksmith, Sister Luo, and another man who were standing at the side. GL Starter, no need to ask. I'm the one who informed Knight Sorrow. We know about his growth, and he has done nothing wrong. Besides, he often treats me to drinks, so I don't want to see him get killed." The blacksmith kicked off his beast-skin shoes and walked a few steps away. "Then you know about the situation. Why didn't you say anything? We can communicate with the headquarters and ask them to give up the mission. There's nothing wrong with that. If Lord Golden Phoenix is angry, the consequences will be uncontrollable." Wuxia glared at the blacksmith and said, "Why are you glaring at me? I'm just a blacksmith. I can do whatever I want. Tell the higher-ups to punish me? Do assassins have no principles?" The blacksmith looked at Wuxia and said, "Bastard, luckily you're the one who informed us. Otherwise, if something happened, we wouldn't be able to escape. Lord Golden Phoenix. She's a big shot who has killed countless venerables. We're just ants in front of her," Wuxia said with some emotion. "Is she very famous?" the other middle-aged man asked. "She's very strong. You can say that she's the pride of the Eastern Xian region. Although I'm not from the Eastern Xian region, I still admire her. Even the top members of our assassin hall have been defeated by her. Many years ago, she also defeated the high-level venerables of the other regions in the domain war and established herself as an invincible venerable. She also protected the peace of the Eastern Xian region, said Wuxia. According to what you said, she's not just talking about going to the 9 regions and 18 states to destroy our Hall of Assassins. Sister Luo said with some surprise. Isn't that nonsense? She doesn't have the confidence to destroy our reputation. We'll know when the news comes. The headquarters will definitely give in. Wuxia said with a bitter smile. Chapter 439. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. That's right. We've really gone too far this time. Some people are taboo. Our assassination hall doesn't have the upper hand when it comes to individual battle prowess. We're even worse off when it comes to the power behind us. Wuxia opened his mouth and said. That's right, Wuxia said. They even accepted the mission to kill a child. I wonder which brainless person decided to accept the mission. The blacksmith snorted coldly because he was very dissatisfied. Blacksmith, I still don't understand. What does that little guy have to do with you? Wuxia was a little puzzled. How did blacksmith get involved in this matter? We've seen him twice. We've been looking for materials to forge the sky-piercing spear for many years, and the blacksmith only gave him 12 spears. Sir, do you think the blacksmith likes him? Sister Luo glanced at the blacksmith and asked. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs.com blacksmith, I won't argue with you this time, but if something like this happens again in the future, I'll definitely teach you a lesson. Isn't it better to discuss things with everyone? The problem has to be solved from the root. Can you solve the problem by leaking information? Find someone to fix this place, you bastard. Wuxia glared at the blacksmith again, then left in a flash. He planned to personally report this matter to the headquarters. That damn fatty, at least he's done something this time, the blacksmith said as he looked in the direction that Wuxia had left. Big brother, the one with the bounty on his head is the child you sent the sky-piercing spear to? Another middle-aged man asked. Love go little say, Ku, big brother, I didn't make a mistake. Back then, he was just a little fellow who had just entered the second order. What about now? Second grade void inquiry stage. Haha. The blacksmith's face was filled with pride. Second grade of the void inquiry stage? I remember it was only 2 years ago when we first met him, right? Sister Luo's eyes were filled with shock. That's right. He's definitely a good seedling for our Eastern Xian region. So, even if we have to violate the rules, we can't let people from other regions kill him. The blacksmith nodded. All right. At that time, I was dissatisfied with Big Brother giving away the sky-piercing spear. However, after killing the evil flood dragon, the sky-piercing spear was no longer important to us. The middle-aged man looked at the blacksmith and said, Yes, each of us only needs 2 sky-piercing spears to protect ourselves. Why do we need so many? Come, there's still a jar of good wine here. Let's drink it, and then find someone to repair this place. I have to say, the master of Tianji Tower is really awesome. The blacksmith took out a jar of Qing Luo leopard bone wine given to him by Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow, who was practicing his spear arts in the mansion, suddenly stopped. This was because he saw Wu Ling Fei, who was wearing a golden mask, a tight skirt, and a gauze robe. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs.com Auntie Fei, why are you here? Knight Sorrow greeted her. Bring me in. Wu Lingfei raised her chin and pointed at Knight Sorrow's loft. Knight Sorrow brought Wu Lingfei into the study room that he rarely entered. Then, he took out a tea set and brewed a pot of tea for Wu Lingfei. Your mansion is not bad. The scenery and style are all okay, Wu Lingfei said after taking off her mask and taking a sip of tea. There are extra lofts here. Auntie Fei can live and cultivate here, Knight Sorrow said. Thinking about it, Auntie Fei is really not as good as you. Because in Dongxian City, I can only go to the Tianji Tower and the City Lord's mansion. I don't have a place to stay. Wu Lingfei suddenly sighed. Auntie Fei, actually, a home is only a place where there are relatives. A home is not an empty house. I will tidy up the innermost and quiet loft for you in a moment, Yishang said. After the three mansions were connected, the craftsman built a viewing tower in the innermost part of the mansion on the left, which was a little far from Night Sorrow's. The loft was shrouded in green bamboo, and the scenery and style were not bad. Okay, but Auntie Fei likes to be quiet. Don't let others near that place. Also, when Auntie Fei cultivates, sometimes it will cause the laws to vibrate and hurt people. Wu Lingfei nodded after thinking for a while. Then I will take Auntie Fei there. Night Sorrow stood up and said. Night Sorrow took Wu Lingfei to the viewing tower and helped her settle down. There's one more thing. Your girlfriend's water attribute isn't normal. She has the sky blue water and the black profound water. She has the sky blue water attribute. This kind of extreme water attribute is very rare. It can even be said that it won't be suppressed by 4 high-level attributes. She might not have noticed it yet. Wu Lingfei said. She was referring to Sikong Chuyu. Auntie Fei, you know that I don't know much about these things. When I have time, I will ask Chuyu to come and ask Auntie Fei for advice. Night Sorrow said, a little embarrassed. Indeed, telling you this is a waste of time. Let her come over at night. Auntie Fei will tell her that this kind of potential is very rare and cannot be buried. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. She suddenly felt that she had treated Night Sorrow as a cultivator for many years. In fact, Night Sorrow was just a child. It could be said that he was a cultivation newbie. Why did Auntie Fei come to Dongxian City? Is there any progress in breaking through? Night Sorrow asked. 0 positive. Version B** release, almost there. But there is no rush. Who knows? Maybe a flash of inspiration will be enough. Why did you come? You have a bounty on your head. How can Auntie Fei not come and take a look? Wu Lingfei said. They won't send a venerable to kill me. Other ranks, even late 5th order, I still have a chance to escape. Night Sorrow said. Auntie Fei has already dealt with this matter. The Eastern Xian region branch of the Assassination Hall will report to the higher-ups and resolve this matter. However, there is a time difference. In other words, by the time they report, the assassins might have already been dispatched. Wu Lingfei said. In fact, this was the main reason why she had stayed in Night Sorrow's residence. I've made Auntie Fei worry again. Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's fine. You go do your thing. Just let your girlfriend come and find Auntie Fei. Wu Lingfei nodded at Night Sorrow. When Night Sorrow arrived at Sikong Chuyu's pavilion, he saw Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei sitting together, studying something. The two women didn't notice Night Sorrow's arrival and continued to read. Night Sorrow walked over and saw what the two women were reading. It was the harmony cultivation technique he had obtained while completing a mission. Back then, Night Sorrow had obtained the harmony cultivation technique after killing 2 women who plucked Yin to supplement Yang. At that time, he had given it to Yang Lei. You're reading this too? Night Sorrow asked after sitting down. Why did you sneak in here? Yang Lei embarrassedly put the ancient book into her storage ring. I swaggered in. You two were too engrossed and didn't see me. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Sorrow, don't think too much. This ancient book is good for the 3 of us. Back then, those 2 women walked the crooked path. Yang Lei explained with a red face. Chapter 440. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with interesting novels to read. After asking Sikong Chuyu to meet Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow informed everyone in the mansion that the small bamboo forest and the viewing tower at the northwest corner of the mansion were forbidden from entering. Even though everyone did not understand why Night Sorrow would give such a notice, they knew that there was a reason behind it. After informing everyone, Night Sorrow returned to his secret cultivation room. He took out the ice spirit blood essence and soul crystals and began to cultivate. In the next few days, Yishan steadily increased his cultivation. He didn't know that a great storm had occurred in Dongxian City. No one had ever dared to provoke the Deathly Hall, but now, someone had destroyed their facade. This was a strange story. Soon after,
A few foolish cultivators who did not know what was going on went to the entrance of the assassination hall and pointed at them. In the end, they ended up in a miserable state. They were directly crippled and hung in front of the pavilion that was being renovated. This also let all the cultivators know that no matter what the assassination hall had experienced, they still could not be provoked casually. Knight Sorrow's cultivation base increased at a relatively slow pace even though he used the spiritual origin liquid. It was because the amount of energy needed to advance to the void inquiry stage was really too much. On this day, after finishing dinner and everyone went to cultivate, Knight Sorrow went to the small training ground in front of the main building to practice his spear techniques. After cultivating for a while, just as Knight Sorrow was about to go to the secret cultivation room to cultivate his foundation, he felt a chill on his body. He had a feeling that he was being stared at by a poisonous snake. Turning his head to look, Knight Sorrow saw a masked man in the shadow of the garden. At this moment, the masked man who knew that Knight Sorrow had discovered him walked out from the shadow. Without saying anything, he shook his arm and brandished his sword, sending out a ray of sword light towards Knight Sorrow. Looking at the 4-chi long sword light flying towards him, Knight Sorrow took a step diagonally and dashed forward. He shook his reincarnation spear and executed the 7 stars dazzling moon spear. The 5 spears merged into one and pierced towards the masked man. Seeing Knight Sorrow attack, the masked man's body flashed and he continued to attack Knight Sorrow with his sword. The position of his sword was very tricky. It was aimed at Knight Sorrow's ribs, which would be the heart. He didn't fight head-on, nor did he fight head-on. Instead, he pursued a one-hit kill. Knight Sorrow immediately understood what was going on with this masked man. He was an assassin on a mission. Although he could not see through his opponent's cultivation base, Knight Sorrow was not afraid. This was the kind of battle he wanted. Only a battle of life and death like this could increase his combat power and stimulate his potential. His opponent's attacks were tricky. Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear was the opposite of his opponent's. This was also Knight Sorrow's confidence in the strength of his attacks. The masked man's dodging and attacking speed were both very fast. He did not fight Knight Sorrow head-on and instead wandered around looking for Knight Sorrow's flaws. However, Knight Sorrow's current spear art was not perfect, but it was very skillful. With the addition of the soaring dragon steps, there were no flaws. After circling around a few times, the masked man discovered that Knight Sorrow's defense was unbreakable. He changed his approach and drew a semicircle with his sword before thrusting forward. Since he could not find any flaws in Knight Sorrow's defense, he planned to create a flaw for Knight Sorrow himself. He and Knight Sorrow did not notice that at this moment, at the top of the main building where Knight Sorrow lived, Wu Lingfei, who was wearing a white dress, was standing in the air with her hands behind her back. She was watching the battle between Knight Sorrow and the masked man. Ding! With a crisp sound, Knight Sorrow was pushed back. His opponent's cultivation base was much higher than his, and his true chi was much more abundant. On the other hand, the masked man's energy was like a needle, piercing towards Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Only when the reincarnation spear was more than halfway through, did Knight Sorrow's true chi dissipate it. After Knight Sorrow was pushed back, his opponent also felt uncomfortable. Knight Sorrow's spiraling energy penetrated into his opponent's sword. After being pushed back, Knight Sorrow stomped his feet and dashed forward. His true chi needed time to slow down and buffer. However, Knight Sorrow had the energy of the Myriad Tao treasure book. When he dashed forward, the energy in his body followed along. Seeing Knight Sorrow dashing towards him, the masked man was stunned for a moment. Then he casually waved his sword towards Knight Sorrow. Even though he lost to Knight Sorrow in terms of energy exertion, he understood that Knight Sorrow would not have it easy either. After all, his cultivation base was 4 levels higher than Knight Sorrow's. He was already at the 5th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Buzz their weapons clashed. Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear released a strong vibration force. After that, the two of them separated again. This time, Knight Sorrow gained the upper hand. The energy of his Myriad Tao treasure book and the strength of his body surpassed the strength of the true chi that the masked man hurriedly gathered. In addition, the vibration force also dispersed the impact of his opponent's energy exertion technique. After gaining the upper hand in one move, Knight Sorrow swung his reincarnation spear and chased after his opponent. After every clash, his opponent's true chi needed a buffer.
Even though the buffer time was very short, Night Sorrow did not need it. His true chi and the energy of the Myriad Dao treasure book alternately attacked. In terms of speed, he was much faster than his opponent. Seeing Night Sorrow dashing towards him again, the masked man let out a low roar. He stomped his feet and his body moved swiftly. Since he could not gain the upper hand in a head-on clash, he began to move around. At this moment, Night Sorrow was chasing after the masked man. However, Night Sorrow's speed was still slower than his opponent's. Night Sorrow also used the energy of the Myriad Dao treasure book to increase his speed. However, the masked man's movement technique was very agile. He could not stop him. "I will kill you another day. Your life is mine." When he saw Hou Jian and the others, as well as the Bloodstrike guards, rushing towards the training ground, the masked man's feet trembled and his body soared into the air. "If you want to fight, I can watch. However, you can't run." Wu Lingfei waved her arm and a large energy hand grabbed the masked man. 9. Look at the authentic version. Chapter F. Above. Who are you? How dare you interfere with the matters of the assassination hall? You are courting death. The masked man roared at Wu Lingfei. Even your hall master would not speak to me like this. Killing you here will only dirty the mansion. Go outside and die. Wu Lingfei snorted and the energy hand flew towards the sky outside the mansion. When it reached the outside, the energy hand squeezed and the masked man turned into a bloody mist. Then, a storage ring flew back to the mansion and fell in front of Night Sorrow. Then, Wu Lingfei's figure disappeared. At this time, Hou Jian and the others arrived at Night Sorrow's side. They only saw the energy hand and did not see Wu Lingfei. "Captain, what happened?" Hou Jian asked when he arrived at Night Sorrow's side. "An assassin came to kill me, but he was killed," Night Sorrow said as he held the storage ring. "Someone came to kill you? Are they tired of living? Captain, do you have any clues? Let's go and destroy them," Xueling said angrily. "This is really unfair. Someone placed a bounty on the assassination hall. I can only be careful. It won't be easy to completely destroy them," Night Sorrow said. "The assassination hall? A few days ago, the assassination hall's front was destroyed. How dare they do this now?" Hou Jian said. "The assassination hall's front was destroyed? Who could be so cruel?" Nan Liyue asked. "I don't know." The assassination hall did not respond. However, a few unlucky people who mocked the assassination hall were killed, Lei Bao said. Chapter 441. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by shall? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. When did this happen? Night Sorrow asked as he glanced at the loft where Wu Lingfei was resting. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs. Some Hou Jian and Lei Bao told him what they knew. After listening to Hou Jian and Lei Bao, Night Sorrow thought for a moment and understood that this was probably Wu Lingfei's doing. "Captain, you still have time to think about this? The assassin hall will assassinate you 3 times, each time more ruthless than the last. If they fail 3 times they will give up. You have to think about the next 2 attempts," Hou Jian said anxiously. "It's fine. Let them come and kill me. This is also a test for me. You guys go rest," Night Sorrow said to the anxious Hou Jian and the others. Then, he nodded at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, who looked somewhat uneasy. Love, Gog Xiao Shuab W. Chu. After reminding Night Sorrow to be careful, Hou Jian and the others and the Bloodstrike guards went back to rest and cultivate. Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu went to the living room of the main building. 13. Are you okay? Yang Lei asked. "I'm fine. That guy can't kill me. Auntie Fei crushed him to death when he tried to escape," Night Sorrow said. "Don't go out so often. After all, the risk is still very high," Sikong Chuyu said. "Chuyu, do you think I should hide and not go out just because someone wants to kill me? I want to see if they can kill me. I also want to see if I can withstand their assassination attempts," Night Sorrow said. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu didn't say anything. They knew that this was Night Sorrow's personality. If they wanted Night Sorrow to be a coward, they might as well kill Night Sorrow. "Chuyu, what did Auntie Fei say about your situation?" Night Sorrow changed the topic. Auntie Fei gave me some pointers on the direction of my cultivation. The effects are very strong. Although I have not yet stimulated the sky blue water attribute, it is definitely not a problem. In the past, I always felt that I could not exert my strength. Now, I understand that what I have cultivated and grasped is only the tip of the iceberg of my potential, Sikong Chuyu said. That's good. Attributes are also an important factor in determining success, Night Sorrow said. According to the current progress, I should be able to activate it very soon. Sikong Chuyu was indeed very happy. This was because in the history of her family, the sky blue water attribute had appeared. That ancestor who had the sky blue water had dominated an era. After that, Night Sorrow sent the two girls to rest. When Night Sorrow wanted to go to Sikong Chuyu's room, he was kicked out. Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei were still cultivating the fusion technique. They had not completely succeeded. After leaving Sikong Chuyu's room, Night Sorrow went to Wu Lingfei's room. Standing in front of the room, Night Sorrow thought about it and felt that it was the same whether he went in or not. The assassination hall should be Wu Lingfei's doing. You're here. Come in. Wu Lingfei's voice reached Night Sorrow's ears. Night Sorrow turned around and walked into the room. In the living room of the room, Night Sorrow saw Wu Lingfei sitting quietly. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say www.aichuxs.com/w, original T first XD, Aunt Fei. After entering the living room, Night Sorrow greeted her. Have a seat. Aunt Fei usually sits quietly, so there is no tea for you. Wu Ling concubine pointed to the chair across from her. Night Sorrow smiled and took out a tea set. He went out of the attic to fetch some water and brewed a pot of tea. Aunt Fei, were you the one who tore down the Deathly Hall? After brewing the tea, Yi Shang hesitated for a moment before asking the question in his heart. They wanted to kill you. I was angry, so I tore down the front of the assassination hall. I didn't kill them because one of them told you. I didn't want to kill innocent people, said Wu Lingfei. Auntie Fei, this won't cause any trouble, right? Just like Tianji Tower, the Deathly Hall is a force that belongs to the 9 realms and 18 states, Night Sorrow said worriedly. So what? Aunt Fei said that if I don't let the Hall of Extermination gain a foothold in the eastern Xian region, they will have to scram, said Wu Lingfei. Many thanks, Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow took the teapot and brewed a pot of tea for Wu Lingfei. Don't be so polite with Aunt Fei. You helped Aunt Fei even more, said Wu Lingfei as she took the teacup. Then I won't be so polite with Aunt Fei in the future, said Night Sorrow. Aunt Fei gave the Hall of Extermination a warning. They will revoke the bounty on you. After all, your status in Tianji Tower and the City Lord's mansion makes it difficult to assassinate you, said Wu Lingfei. Maybe they don't know about this. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. Yes. In the 9 realms and 18 states, the Royal City, City Lord's mansion, and Tianji Tower are places that others cannot easily reach out and touch. Therefore, the Hall of Extermination doesn't know about your situation in Tianji Tower and the City Lord's mansion. It's not that they can't find out, but they didn't investigate because they don't want to offend the City Lord's mansion and Tianji Tower, said Wu Lingfei as she took a sip of tea. So they won't accept this mission? Asked Night Sorrow. How should I put it? That's not it. The Assassin Hall has 2 types of rewards. One is an open reward, and the other is a dark reward. The assassination this time was an open reward, which means that the Assassin Hall gave the mission directly to the Assassin Hall. The other type is a dark reward, which means that the Assassin Hall only receives a third of the reward. The Assassin Hall doesn't care who receives the mission, said Wu Lingfei. I understand. In other words, even if the Hall of Extermination doesn't accept my bounty, they can still assassinate me in the form of dark red. Night Sorrow understood what Wu Lingfei meant. Even if she could influence the open reward, the Hall of Extermination still had the possibility of dark red. So this time, Aunt Fei wants the Hall of Extermination to send over the information of the person who issued the mission. Otherwise, we will remove the Hall of Extermination from the Eastern Xian region, said Wu Lingfei. Is that appropriate? Aunt Fei, please don't cause any trouble because of me. Night Sorrow was a little worried because Wu Lingfei was challenging the Hall of Extermination. Don't worry. Aunt Fei knows what to do. This is our territory. Why would we need to care about other people's opinions in our territory? Wu Lingfei smiled confidently. All right. I also need to learn this kind of domineering aura from Aunt Fei, said Night Sorrow looking at Wu Lingfei. Then Aunt Fei will tell you. In this world, the strong are respected. Principles and rules are just empty words. The strong fist is the true reason. Rules are made by the strong and are also broken by the strong. Whoever has the strength is the boss, said Wu Lingfei. I will do my best. Night Sorrow nodded. Aunt Fei believes that you can do it. It's just a matter of time. Aunt Fei also hopes that the Eastern Xian region will have an expert rise. One person really can't bear it alone. If something happens to Aunt Fei, the Eastern Xian region will fall to the point where it will be trampled by other regions. Many forces will go to other regions to fight for territory when they don't have much space to develop in their own region. Killing will be happening all the time, said Wu Lingfei with a sigh. There is such a thing? I really didn't know about it, said Night Sorrow. Chapter 442. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little? I'll provide you with a wonderful novel to read. Night Sorrow's heart was greatly shaken. He hadn't expected the Three Origin region to be occupied by the Qingtian region and become a subsidiary region. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. They attacked our Eastern Xian region before. At that time, the Qingtian region joined forces with the Taiyue region to wage a war on our Eastern Xian region. We lost 5 supremacies in that battle, but Auntie Fei killed even more and defeated the 2 region lords. The price was that Auntie Fei was also heavily injured. This is also the reason why Auntie Fei is cultivating in the Eastern Snow Mountain. Although it's called cultivation, most of the time, it's to heal. Wu Lingfei sighed. Is Auntie Fei all right now? Night Sorrow asked. Yes. You helped Auntie Fei obtain so many ice spirit blood essences. The problem has long been solved. What Auntie Fei should do now is to kill those 2 shameless bastards from the Qingtian region and Taiyue region. They shouldn't be able to recover as quickly as Auntie Fei, Wu Lingfei said with narrowed eyes. Auntie Fei, that's a bit risky. But with my current cultivation, I can't help much, Night Sorrow said in a low voice. There's no need to rush. After learning from the water attribute destiny stone you gave me, Auntie Fei has a better grasp of things. With this grasp, I can pursue a higher level. There's no need to rush to deal with them, Wu Lingfei said. Auntie Fei, do you need the life crystals? They're not very useful to me, Night Sorrow said. Knowing that the Sikong Chuyu's attribute path was the sky blue water attribute, Night Sorrow didn't have much use for the life crystals. All right. Auntie Fei doesn't need to be polite with you. Wu Lingfei nodded. Night Sorrow took out half of the life crystals and piled them up in the room. So many. Wu Lingfei was a bit dumbfounded at the sight of so many life crystals. These were all left behind by the life saintess who wanted to possess me, Night Sorrow said. Then Auntie Concubine will stay. Previously, Auntie Concubine didn't want to use the life crystals, so she planned to rely on herself to find the bottleneck. Now, even if I waste a little bit, I can absorb the weak power of law in the life crystals and break through. Wu Lingfei said excitedly. Here's more life essence. Night Sorrow took out 2 more jade bottles and gave them to Wu Lingfei. Night Sorrow, half of Auntie Fei's future achievements come from you. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and said, Auntie Fei's words are too serious. Then, Auntie Fei should cultivate first. I will go back and cultivate. Night Sorrow said. Okay. Also, go to the City Lord's mansion and inform Elder Kuan Nan that he has something to report to your mansion. As for Qianji Tower, you can also inform Yin Shui or Ho Yuan, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. I will do it tomorrow. Night Sorrow got up and nodded. Also, don't leave the mansion for the time being. After all, the matter with Death Hall hasn't been settled yet. Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded and left Wu Lingfei's place to cultivate. Returning to his secret cultivation room, he took out the soul crystals and ice spirit blood essence and started cultivating. Night Sorrow didn't care about the assassination attempt from Death Hall. Not to mention early 5th Order, even mid-5th Order, Night Sorrow had the strength to fight. Although Night Sorrow couldn't win against late 5th Order, he could still escape.
As for venerables, the chances of them coming after him were slim. Even if they came, they wouldn't be able to get past Wu Lingfei. After cultivating for a night, Knight Sorrow went to the city lord's mansion and Tianji Tower to tell Kuan Nan and Yin Shui about Wu Lingfei's situation in his mansion. After walking around and returning to his residence, Knight Sorrow played with Tianyu and the silver fox cub for a while before continuing to cultivate. His true qi cultivation was still far from advancing, but his myriad Dao's tome cultivation wasn't far from the 8th level of the consolidation realm. While Yi Shang was cultivating, Mu Sha was reporting the situation to an old man in a secluded courtyard in the sky-bearing city of the sky-bearing region. Golden Phoenix? Something is wrong. Come with me to report this to the other elders and vice hall masters, the old man said solemnly after listening to Mu Sha's report. Then, under the guidance of the white-robed old man, the two went through a few streets and 2 secret passages. After going through several checks, they entered a small underground palace. Elder Jean, what's going on? A middle-aged man in a black robe asked. Second Elder, Mu Sha has returned from the eastern Xian region. He has something to report to the headquarters, so I brought him here. The situation is very serious, so it's best to report it to the hall master and vice hall master, Zhang Yuqing said. She was the elder who brought Mu Sha here. The hall master is in seclusion. Let's invite the vice hall master. The middle-aged man in the black robe said. He was the second elder of the assassination hall, Mu Yuenting. Then, under Mu Yuenting's summons, a few old men and a woman in a white robe and a butterfly mask gathered in the underground palace. When the woman appeared, everyone bowed to greet her. She was the vice hall master of the assassination hall, Swallowtail Butterfly. This was her code name, and she was currently in charge of everything in the assassination hall. Then, Mu Sha reported about the destruction of the Eastern Xian region branch. Hearing that, Swallowtail Butterfly, who was in a white robe, emitted a murderous aura. The murderous aura caused everyone's expression to change drastically. Go on. Swallowtail Butterfly's voice was emotionless. The person who did this is the branch master of the Tianji Tower in the Eastern Xian region. She asked me to bring her name to the headquarters, and also asked them to give her the information of the person who killed Knight Sorrow. Mu Sha bowed and said, How audacious! She's really arrogant. She dared to leave her name after destroying our branch. This is a slap to the face of our assassination hall. How can a branch master of the Tianji Tower be so arrogant? What's her name? Swallowtail Butterfly stood up and said, In the 9 regions and 18 states, the assassination hall was not as powerful as the royal city of each region. First of all, the royal city of each region was the local tyrant. They had been operating for countless years. Unless there was a regional war, other forces would not be able to touch the royal city. The royal city's forces were undoubtedly powerful. Almost all the venerables of each region would be under the control of the city lord's office. Other than the royal city's forces, only the Tianji Tower was powerful. However, the Tianji Tower would not provoke the assassination hall for no reason. The assassination hall had been around for countless years. The quantity and quality of the assassins under their command were indisputable. If the Tianji Tower made things difficult for the assassination hall would not be able to withstand it. However, if the assassination hall retaliated, the Tianji Tower would not have an easy time either. This was something everyone knew. Under such circumstances, the destruction of the assassination hall's branch was a big deal. This was a slap to the face, and it was also a declaration of war. That's right. Even the royal city's forces have to give face to the assassination hall. Is a branch master of the Tianji Tower going to start a war? An old man said. This old man was the great elder of the assassination hall, Wu Tianhe. Chapter 443. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. What did you say? Her name is Golden Phoenix? Wu Tianhe stood up in shock. Yes, she said her name is Golden Phoenix. If we don't give her an explanation, she will travel all over the 9 regions and 18 states and wipe out all of our branches, Mu Sha said. Silence. The hall was dead silent. This mission is really... Wu Tianhe sighed. Second Elder, bring us all the details of this mission. Let's analyze it and see what's going on,
Swallowtail Butterfly said. If it's true, then we've really gotten ourselves into big trouble. If others say that, then it's just bullshit or a threat, but Lord Golden Phoenix's words are absolutely true. If we don't appease her anger, then our branch of the Assassination Hall will definitely suffer, said Wu Tianhe. I understand. We can only accept our bad luck for provoking her. If she gets angry, the entire eastern Xian region will become a forbidden area for our Assassin Hall, said the snow-tailed butterfly. There was anger in her voice, but she did not explode. After a while, Zhan Yuqing came with a document. The next chieftain is anonymous. But according to our investigation, he's Ji Yu Hao from the Ji Yu clan. The Ji Yu clan is digging a hole for us. Can't they kill someone? Wu Tianhe said angrily. Digging a hole for us? Then we won't hold back. Second Elder, you and Mu Sha go to the eastern Xian region and deal with this matter. Since the Ji Yu clan brought this trouble to us, we'll return the favor. We can't afford to offend Lord Golden Phoenix, so let them. Also, investigate everything about Night Sorrow. Even if he doesn't have any scars, find out everything about him, Swallowtail Butterfly said coldly. There's also some news. The Guardian Elder of the Eastern Xian City has also found me and said that Night Sorrow is from the City Lord Mansion, Mu Sha said. This hole is really deep. Investigate. Investigate both sides. We must get to the bottom of this, Swallowtail Butterfly ordered again. On Night Sorrow's side, he cultivated steadily every day. His cultivation of the Myriad Dao Tome had smoothly entered level 8 of the Consolidation Realm. His soul power had also improved significantly. Although it was still a long way from liquefying, it was still several times stronger than when he had just opened up his deity sea. Right now, there was no one to practice with Night Sorrow. Ho Jian and the others weren't willing, and neither were the members of the Bloodstrike Guard. Night Sorrow only focused on his spear arts and footwork. On the other hand, Tianyu and Silver Fox's cultivation improved very quickly. Tianyu's cultivation had already entered the 4th order, level 9, and Silver Fox's cultivation had reached the 3rd order. Ho Jian and the others, in addition to cultivating their true qi every day, would also be sparring. They would also help Yang Lei instruct the disciples under her sect in their cultivation. Qin Zhen was very hard-working in his cultivation. He spent almost all of his time in cultivation. Usually, when he saw him, he was also practicing his swordsmanship. A few days later, Silver Snow arrived at Night Sorrow's residence. Night Sorrow brought him to the main building's living room and served him tea. It's like this. The people from the Assassination Hall's headquarters are here. They want to see the K-Master. Night Sorrow, can you inform the K-Master? Silver Snow asked. I'm here. At that moment, Wu Lingfei, who was wearing a golden mask, entered the living room. Greetings, Your Excellency. Silver Snow stood up and cupped his hands in greeting. I don't want to see them. Go tell them that they must hand over the information of the next K-Master. If they can't, then I'll keep my word. Wu Lingfei sat down and said, the information is here. They have already expressed their apologies and hope that Your Excellency can forgive their mistake. Love, go little say, at the same time, he placed a few pieces of paper on the tea table in front of Wu Lingfei. Go back and tell them that this matter is over. Also, tell them that Night Sorrow is a core member of the Tianji Tower's headquarters. Also, tell them whether they want to accept the reward or not. Also, tell them that Night Sorrow is still a member of the City Lord's mansion. Wu Lingfei said. I'll do it right away. Silver Snow stood up and said. Then go. Wu Lingfei waved her hand. Night Sorrow sent Silver Snow out of Qingxin Cottage. At the same time, he asked about the situation at Broken Cloud Mountain. It's still the same. Our advantage has been taken away. Dark spiritual corpses often attack together at the spatial passage. They come out from inside and sneak attack one person. It's very difficult to deal with them, so our venerables can't guard the spatial passage. Silver Snow explained the situation to Night Sorrow. If we don't guard the spatial passage, won't we return to the same situation as before? Night Sorrow said with a frown. Yes, there's nothing we can do about it. The nature of the spatial passage is too disgusting. Dark spiritual corpses also appear at the Island of Darkness. However, the situation there is still manageable. They can't run back once they come out, so as long as they appear, they will be killed. Silver Snow was helpless. The dark creatures in the death space were not only strong in terms of quality, but also in terms of quantity. I understand. I'll talk to Aunt Fay later and see if there's any way. Night Sorrow nodded to Silver Snow. Silver Snow was stunned for a moment, then left. He was stunned because of the way Night Sorrow addressed him. After leaving, Silver Snow knew that Night Sorrow's position in Wu Lingfei's eyes had already surpassed the higher-ups of Tianji Tower. First of all, her attitude towards him was different. After returning to the mansion, Night Sorrow sat opposite Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei was looking at the information sent by the Assassination Hall. Take a look. It's someone from the Qingtian Domain's GU family. Wu Lingfei threw the information in front of Night Sorrow. After taking a look at the information, Yi Shang calmed himself down and let out a sigh of relief. Just as he had expected, it really was someone from GU's family. Moreover, it was that shameless GU Hao who wanted to marry into the Xikong family. What do you think? Wu Lingfei took a sip of tea and asked. Nothing. With or without this bounty mission, I'm not done with the GU family. Father Gu, who adopted me, had his arm chopped off by a disciple of the GU family. I won't give up. Night Sorrow said. Then bear with it. The Eastern Xian domain is chaotic. You have to improve your strength in this situation. Anyway, the GU family is there. They can't run away. Wu Lingfei said. Don't worry, Aunt Fei. I'm not an impulsive person. I won't be rash before I'm strong enough. Night Sorrow folded the information and put it away. Good. In fact, you're not the only one who has a grudge against them. When the Qingtian domain and Taiwa domain joined forces to attack our Eastern Xian domain, the Qingtian domain was the main force. GU family also had a part in it. Therefore, you're not the only one who wants to deal with them. I also want to deal with them. Wu Lingfei stood up and said. I know. So, whether it's for public or private reasons, I want to deal with the GU family. Night Sorrow said. First published in AA. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.